Chapter 1625. Under the eye of cave spirit, all the spiritual power was coming from the depths. That was the position. It should be behind the army. That was probably Lin Xian's destination. Rumble. Just like before, the great army had all moved. Skip, let's not care about this. Lin Xian then released the power of space and estimated the distance. Then the two of them disappeared. When they reappeared, they appeared at the rear of the army. A space in front of them came into view. Let's go. Lin Xian pulled Lu Qingzhu's hand and walked in. Whoosh, in front of them was another shocking scene. What was going on here? This space did not look special. It was very big, about the size of a normal stadium. It was the kind of huge space where A-list celebrities held a concert and could seat 100,000 people. There was water below, but the water was not deep. It was probably only about a meter deep. They could see the bottom of the water. Obviously, this was a specially built pool. However, as for what it was used for, they did not know for the time being. Moreover, this was flowing water. It should be water from the river outside. This was not important. What was important was that there were hundreds and thousands of coffins in the water. These coffins were of different colors, sizes, and patterns, but they seemed to be arranged in a very orderly manner. Could it be that they are all the generals under King Zhou during the Shang dynasty? Lu Qingzhu guessed. I'm afraid so. They are all in there. Lin Xian also saw that there were a few coffin lids that were open. There were only a few, but Lin Xian counted 7. In addition to the 2 that had been killed earlier, there should be 5 more powerhouses here. But where were they? Is he hiding? Lin Xian became alert. What I'm curious about now is how they fell asleep. Why is there no time in their sleep? Lin Xian muttered to himself. Actually, this was a very important thing to know. What I'm more curious about is why those people chose to go into hibernation. They were not from the same dynasty, and there was even a gap of thousands of years between them. But in the end, they all chose to go into hibernation. Was it because they knew that someone else was doing it, so they chose to do it, or did they know something? I'm afraid it's because they know something. Almost all of them woke up at this time, as if they had discussed it beforehand. However, it's impossible for them to all wake up at this time. Could it be that they all knew something and all of them woke up at this time? But why? Lin Xian frowned. This is also what those experts don't understand. King Zhou of the Shang dynasty is in deep slumber, and is about to wake up at this time. King Qin is also in deep slumber, and is about to wake up at this time. It's very strange. In contrast, the spiritual energy of the heavens and earth is extremely weak at this time. If they want to sleep, they should wake up at a time when the spiritual energy of the heavens and earth is more abundant. Lu Qingzhu said. Yes, so there must be a very important reason that we don't know. How did they fall asleep? Why did they freeze time? In this era, what is the reason for them to all awaken at this time? Lin Xian was truly perplexed. Why did these people need to sleep? Lin Xian definitely knew one of the reasons. That was, even if their cultivation level reached the heavenly Tao realm, their lifespans were at most a few thousand years. Even if you were at the heavenly Tao realm, you would only have a lifespan of 5,000 years, right? There was no such thing as eternal life. The ones with longer lifespans were the Fae. If a Fae could reach the heavenly Tao realm, based on their bloodline, just like the void fox Linglong Shui, her lifespan could reach tens of thousands of years, or even 100,000 years. This was the difference between humans and Fae. However, this world could be said to be unfair, but it could be said to be fair. The Fae had a long lifespan, but it was even harder for them to cultivate. Under normal circumstances, Linglong Shui would take 1,000 years to cultivate to the heavenly Tao realm. The weaker ones would even take 10,000 years. As for humans, if they were more powerful, they could reach the heavenly Tao realm in a few decades. This also led to the fact that there were not many high-grade demon race experts. They were far inferior to humans, but what was interesting was that the combat strength of Fae with powerful bloodlines was several times that of humans at the same realm. Let's ignore this for now. This space was extremely suitable for the growth of the supreme nether fluorescent grass. Therefore, Lin Xian was certain that the supreme nether fluorescent grass was here. Indeed, Lin Xian looked up and saw a blue heaven and earth face swaying in the crevice of a wall 100 meters away. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Supreme nether fluorescent grass. Lu Qingzhu traced Lin Xian's gaze and looked over. Is that what you're looking for? Lin Xian nodded. Wait for me. Be careful. After saying that, Lin Xian released the power of space and directly appeared there. Because he hadn't reached the Empyrean realm, Lin Xian couldn't fly. However, Lin Xian was able to grab the wall on the other side. Law of creation. Lin Xian released the law of creation and created a force for his right hand. This force could defend against the supreme nether fluorescent grass's powerful impact. About a minute later, puff! Lin Xian spat out a mouthful of blood, and then a powerful force erupted there. Then Lin Xian appeared beside Lu Qingzhu. Are you okay? Lin Xian shook his head, but his face was full of surprise. Supreme nether fluorescent grass, and it was a supreme nether fluorescent grass of sufficient quality. He had finally obtained it. His injuries were not serious. It was just that the supreme nether fluorescent grass was a very high-level heaven and earth fae after all. Generally, this kind of heaven and earth fae would be surrounded by powerful heaven and earth fae. If one wanted to pick this kind of heaven and earth fae, one would need to have great strength. And Lin Xian's domain realm was not enough. He released his strength to forcibly pick it, so naturally, he would be injured. But it did not matter. With the law of creation, Lin Xian's injuries could still recover quickly. The most important thing was that he had obtained the supreme nether fluorescent grass. Lin Xian carefully placed the supreme nether fluorescent grass into his interspatial ring. Once it was picked, this kind of heaven and earth fae would lose its protective power. Of course, it still contained powerful heaven and earth fae. Then Lin Xian consumed a pill and released the law of creation to heal his injuries. Lu Qingzhu was protecting Lin Xian. It was very dangerous because 7 of the coffins had been opened, and they had only encountered 2 people. There were still 5 more. It was possible that those people were watching them from the shadows, ready to take action at any moment. Lin Xian exhaled and stood up. That should be where King Zhou of Shang is. Lin Xian raised his hand and pointed at a huge golden coffin 100 meters in the air. Chapter 1626. Lin Xian looked at the scene in front of him. In addition to the many coffins in the water, there were also coffins in the air. Looking up, there were also many coffins in the air. At first glance, the quality of the coffins was different. Gold, purple, blue, and the patterns on them were even more beautiful. There were many chains around these coffins in the air. At first glance, they looked quite scary. In the middle, there was a very noble golden coffin. At first glance, one would think that this should be the best one here. Therefore, under normal circumstances, this should be the one that King Zhou of Shang was sleeping in. Lu Qingzhu was also secretly shocked as she looked at the scene. This place. What should we do? Lu Qingzhu asked. In fact, she had a rough idea of what to do, but she didn't know the specific method. Lin Xian had a big heart, so she still had to rely on Lin Xian. Lin Xian had already gotten what he wanted. In fact, he could just slip away, but this place was too important. In addition, King Zhou of Shang was a tyrant. This was absolutely certain. In addition, they had stationed a large number of troops here. Lin Xian knew that if they really woke up, the consequences would definitely be harming Earth. When the time came for Lin Xian to leave, his women would definitely continue to stay on Earth. Therefore, Lin Xian would try his best to do as much as possible. Kill them directly. But what I'm worried about now is that they don't seem to have woken up. I'm worried that if we attack, they will wake up. I don't believe that they won't have any reaction even if they are killed in their sleep. Lin Xian. Then we can't attack, right? Lin Xian pondered for a moment. Of course, this is just my guess. You said that you have a trump card. What is it? Tell me. Lu Qingzhu said. I have a spatial spiritual tool that can help me leave. In addition, Lu Qingzhu hesitated for a moment and said, there was a power sealed in my body when I was young. This was also what my parents told me after I almost died at Tao Tai's place. This power will give me the power of a 10-star heavenly venerable after I unseal it. Is it harmful? Lu Qingzhu shook her head. Not really. It's just that I might enter a weakened state for a few days. It can only be used once. It's for me to save my life. I think that with my ability, with the cultivation of a 10 stars heavenly venerable, I should be able to fight against a great void stage expert whose cultivation is not that high. Lu Qingzhu was still confident about this. She herself was very outstanding, but because she was by Lin Xian's side, she was overshadowed by Lin Xian's brilliance. Then forget it. Don't use it if you can. This is your life-saving item. Just watch me. Doesn't that mean I'm just a bystander? Lu Qingzhu said. So who told you to come here? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Lu Qingzhu did not say anything. Why couldn't her realm be higher? But in this world, she was already enough. He only said that there might be some disasters in the future, so she had to reach a higher realm. Lin Xian muttered to himself as he made a plan. Let me see if there's anyone inside. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed as he released his destruction laws. He chose a coffin in front of him that was relatively close. With a burst of strength, the coffin exploded as a figure fell into the water. The man did not look like anything was wrong at first glance. His face was rosy and he was still breathing. But because he had fallen into the water, he woke up immediately. It was only because he had just woken up that he might not be able to move freely. He might even need some time to adjust to opening his eyes. After all, he had been asleep for thousands of years. How could it be normal to suddenly open his eyes? What Lin Xian was worried about had happened. F***K, he really woke up. But Shua, Lin Xian took out 2 swords. One was the Xianyuan sword, and the other was Lin Mo's divine sword. With the 2 swords in hand, Lin Xian's strength increased exponentially. With a spatial leap, he flashed over. Before the figure could see what was in front of him, he was slain by Lin Xian in 2 strikes. Regardless of what realm you are at, you can't be at the heavenly Tao realm, right? You can't be at the high levels of the great void realm, right? The sharpness of Lin Xian's 2 swords was entwined with flames of darkness. You didn't even release your spiritual energy and killed him casually. Lin Xian came to Lu Qingzhu's side. Do we have to do this one by one? Lin Xian said. From the looks of it, that's the only way. No, that's not important. Lin Xian looked at the coffins in the water. From the person he had just killed, he was likely at the early stages of the heavenly venerable realm. He might not even be at the early stages of the heavenly venerable realm. This was definitely because he had lost his cultivation realm due to his slumber. This was very normal. He might need some time to gradually recover his cultivation. In other words, there was no need for him to cultivate. He could slowly recover. Such a realm was not much of a threat. Lin Xian could not wipe them out today. When the time came, he could get others to wipe them out. If they woke up and escaped, they would not be able to cause any trouble in a great world like Earth. What was important was above. Lin Xian looked up. According to this person's situation, as long as Lin Xian acted quickly, even if it was King Zhou of Shang, Lin Xian felt that he could wipe him out. There was no other way. He could only be selfish. Whether or not they would turn over a new leaf, no matter what they thought, Lin Xian felt that wiping them out was the best choice. Lin Xian counted from above. There were a total of 48 coffins. Come. Bang. Lin Xian released the law of destruction and destroyed the one at the edge. The reason he did not directly destroy the one Lin Xian thought was King Zhou of Shang was because Lin Xian wanted to have a rough estimate of King Zhou of Shang's cultivation. From there, he could deduce what King Zhou of Shang's cultivation realm was. This way, Lin Xian could be prepared. One of the coffins exploded, and a figure fell out of it. Lin Xian leaped up and dashed toward the figure. Perhaps the person who was in deep sleep was confused, and then he died. It was easy. Lin Xian roughly sensed that he should have the defensive physique of a 10-star heavenly venerate or early-stage Great Void Realm cultivator. Even if it was the physique of an early-stage Great Void Realm cultivator, Lin Xian would not have much of a problem. With 2 divine swords in hand, Lin Xian could even fight a Great Void Realm cultivator for a while, not to mention that they had not even opened their eyes yet. So simple? Lu Qingzhu stood to the side, stunned. Wasn't it a little too simple? Lin Xian also felt that it was a little too simple. Or did he think that this place was too difficult? Then Lin Xian locked onto the giant golden coffin. No matter how strong King Zhou of Shang was, he couldn't possibly have the heavenly Tao, right? Chapter 1627. Lin Xian believed that since King Zhou of Shang was able to claim the title of emperor at that time, he must have been the most powerful. If he died, there would be no leader. Even if there were still others, what could they do? Bang! Lin Xian released the law of creation. Then, a terrifying force rushed toward him. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. Not good. This should be an extremely strong defensive power. This defensive power should be able to destroy the person who attacked him. Fortunately, Lin Xian had the space attribute. He reacted quickly and released it. Then he disappeared with Lu Qingzhu. After a short while, "You stay here," Lin Xian said to Lu Qingzhu. "No. I'm a 10-star heavenly venerable. I can help you. If you don't need me, I won't do it. If you need me, I'll help you." All right. Then the two of them went back. A figure stood in the air. His body was surrounded by a black light. His eyes were closed. King Zhou of the Shang dynasty. That was Lin Xian's first reaction. The impact just now had turned the surroundings into a mess, but the coffins were fine. Lin Xian did not hesitate. He rushed over. Full power. King Zhou of the Shang dynasty slowly opened his eyes. Impudent. His eyes narrowed. However, he was very weak right now. Because he had just woken up, or more accurately, because he had been woken up, he needed a period of rest. This was why they had created this place to prevent future disturbances. In fact, he was already on the verge of waking up. His aura. Lin Xian sensed it. About 7 or 8 stars of the virtualized realm. However, in Lin Xian's eyes, King Zhou of the Shang dynasty was a piece of trash. Even when he opened his eyes, all he could see was darkness. His brain was not working. It felt like he had been knocked unconscious and had just woken up. Or even worse. Therefore, Lin Xian only needed to have the power to kill him. Then he could kill him. And Lin Xian definitely had that power. Although his cultivation level was not high, with 2 swords in hand, he released the law of creation and condensed the dark fire into 2 swords. Whoosh! You're courting death. At this moment, a sword flew out of nowhere, bringing with it a surging aura. Spatial lock. Lin Xian released the power of space to seal the sword. Then whoosh, King Zhou's head fell to the ground. Lin Xian followed. That was it. To be honest, it was a little too simple. So simple that Lin Xian wondered if this was King Zhou of the Shang dynasty or not. Could this be a smokescreen? Was this a trick to confuse? Was this trick to protect King Zhou of the Shang? Lu Qingzhu could not believe it. Died King Zhou died? Was this King Zhou of the Shang? Lin Xian frowned. Holy shit. Usually, whenever he did something, there would be trials and tribulations everywhere. Lin Xian was already used to doing things that were not so simple. No matter where he went, he felt that things were definitely not as simple as they seemed on the surface. This had also formed a habit of being very careful. So now Lin Xian felt that this was too simple? Is this King Zhou of the Shang dynasty? Lu Qingzhu could not believe it. I'm not sure either. Lin Xian shook his head. Or is it because I've been asleep for too long and have just woken up? But I did have the power to kill someone in the virtualized realm. After all, King Zhou of the Shang dynasty did not even release his defensive spiritual energy. Lin Xian said. It was ridiculous. Ha 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 ha. At that moment, a loud laugh sounded. Then, a black wind surged and rushed toward the sword in the air. A hand reached out from the black fog and grabbed the sword. Ha ha ha, the monarch sword. The monarch sword is in my hands just like that. Ha ha ha. Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu looked on warily. It was an old man. He did not look like a simple old man. Then he looked at Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu. What a brat. You actually managed to break His Majesty's great array so easily and didn't die. You even managed to escape. So you have the spatial attribute. This old man is curious. How did you break His Majesty's great array? The old man looked down at Lin Xian. Hearing this, Lin Xian seemed to be sure that it was King Zhou of the Shang dynasty. And he was King Zhou's subordinate. How did he break the formation? Lin Xian did not know. But there was clearly some power protecting King Zhou of the Shang dynasty in his brother's coffin. It was just that, perhaps the law of destruction was too invincible. Lin Xian did not think about how to break it. Anyway, he just wanted to break the coffin. At that time, he had used up a lot of spiritual energy. Lin Xian did not think too much about it. He thought that since it was the coffin of King Zhou of Shang, it was normal for the law of destruction to consume more spiritual energy. So there was a magic array. But I have to thank you. I thought that I would continue to follow His Majesty, but now that His Majesty is dead, the monarch's sword is in my hands. Ha ha ha. Since that is the case, I will let you live. Follow me. And if I don't? Lin Xian asked. No. Haha, then die. The old man's eyes narrowed. He was in a good mood. The first thing he did after waking up was to kill King Zhou of the Shang dynasty. As his subordinate, he had great ambitions. He said that he would follow King Zhou of the Shang dynasty, but he could not show his ambitions. He thought that if he could wake up early, kill King Zhou of the Shang dynasty, and take the monarch's sword, the world would be his. But reality was not so good. King Zhou of the Shang dynasty's coffin was protected by a powerful formation. He could not do anything about it, nor could he take the monarch's sword. He had already seen the people outside. Yuan Hong and Kong Xian were sent by him. He did not make a move because he wanted to kill King Zhou of Shang. However, he had awakened at the same time as Yuan Hong and Kong Xian. If they were together, he could not show it, so he could not make a move. He took advantage of the time when they were there to attack, but he could not do it. But this kid had done it. From today onwards, the world was his. Boy, since you have the space attribute, then you have some ability. Follow this old man. This old man is Grand Preceptor 1. No, from now on I will be Emperor 1. Follow this old man and you will enjoy endless glory and wealth. Wen Zhong laughed. Grand Tutor 1 Wen Zhong. Lu Qingzhu's pupils shrank. Wen Zhong? Who is that? Lin Xian did not know much about this. He is King Zhou's first general, the Grand Tutor of the Shang dynasty. He should be second only to King Zhou of the Shang dynasty. Lin Xian sensed that this old man's cultivation was at least at the 5 stars of the virtualized stage. And he had woken up, so it was difficult. Chapter 16:28. To Wen Zhong, this kid had the space attribute, so he had the right to follow him. Moreover, he had never gone out before and did not know what the outside world was like. He might need someone to guide him, and from the looks of it, this kid was quite suitable. What should Lin Xian say now? He was not very afraid of a 5-star Great Void Stage cultivator. The gap between their realms was huge, but Lin Xian was also very strong. Especially with 2 swords in hand, Lin Xian's attributes increased by too much. Kid, do you still need to consider such a small matter? Grand Preceptor Wen looked at Lin Xian. He was quite grateful to this kid. He had actually killed King Zhou of Shang. This was simply an achievement for him. Therefore, this was also the reason why he gave Lin Xian a chance, and did not kill him. I won't consider it. Lin Xian said. That's good. Follow me then. No. Lin Xian shook his head. I won't consider it. I won't follow you. Grand Preceptor Wen was stunned. Aha. Kid, are you kidding? At that time, you might be in existence second only to one person in the entire continent. What can you not have? You're telling me that you won't consider it? Do you want to die? Lin Xian nodded. That's true. I want to die, but I don't know if you have the ability to do so. Ha ha ha. Grand Preceptor Wen laughed loudly. All right. Then I'll see what you're capable of. Whoosh! In the next instant, a black mist surged toward Lin Xian. Step back. Lin Xian said to Lu Qingzhu. I can help you. Lu Qingzhu said. She felt that she could erupt with a 10-star heavenly venerable cultivation. So facing a 5-star Great Void Stage cultivator was not too bad. There's no need. Lu Qingzhu was stunned. He was only a 2-star Grand Dominion. Facing a 5-star Great Void Stage cultivator. There was no need? It seemed like he could run away. Although Grand Preceptor Wen was powerful, Lin Xian had the space attribute, so he could run. Wasn't he going to run? Since Lin Xian had said so, Lu Qingzhu definitely wouldn't force her way through. Although Lin Xian's cultivation was low, she was really worried that she would cause trouble for him. Lin Xian held 2 swords in his hands and suddenly slashed at the black fog. Power erupted, and the black fog dispersed. Grand Preceptor Wen's eyes suddenly lit up. These 2 swords. He even had a feeling that these 2 swords were not any weaker than the monarch's sword in his hands. This was too exaggerated. That was the sword of King Zhou of Shang. How could a young man's sword be a divine artifact? It's no wonder why you're so confident. However, Grand Dominion Realm cultivators are still Grand Dominion Realm cultivators. Even if you're 10 times stronger than you are now, you'll still die. Grand Preceptor Wen sneered. His eyes narrowed as he charged towards Lin Xian. Then I'm sorry. What I want to tell you is that if I were 10 times stronger than I am now, you wouldn't even have the right to be arrogant in front of me. After Lin Xian finished speaking, he released his domain. Realm Reducing Domain. Forcefully reducing the other party's cultivation by 3 stars. Ignoring the realm. Alright. Lin Xian's Grand Dominion realm could only reduce his cultivation by 2 stars. However, this reduction of 2 stars could be considered as weakening his strength by quite a bit. What? Grand Preceptor Wen felt it, and was rather shocked. The gap was so big, but he could still reduce his own realm? But unfortunately the gap was too big. He did not take this brat seriously at all. Law of Creation, Power Doubled. Divine Rank Martial Technique, 10,000 Lightning Heavenly Prison. Sizzle, black lightning exploded. Lin Xian's strength was not weak at all. Law of Creation, Power Doubled, and then the power of 10,000 evil lightning bolts and the support of a divine rank martial technique. All of these added together brought about an exaggerated strength. One had to know that all of these were crushing. Grand Preceptor Wen probably did not have a divine rank martial technique, right? Lin Xian's explosive strength alone had already reached the power of the Great Void stage. Because there was also the support of 2 swords. The divine artifact, Xianyuan sword, and the sacred sword that he had obtained there. The main reason was that the power of these 2 swords had increased Lin Xian's strength by too much. Lu Qingzhu revealed a very shocked expression. How did he achieve the power of his Grand Dominion realm to the Great Void stage in an instant? Grand Preceptor Wen was also secretly shocked. As expected, you have some skills. These 2 swords, this old man wants them. In his opinion, the bigger reason was these 2 swords. In fact, this was indeed the case, but he had completely underestimated Lin Xian, or rather, he did not know how heaven-defying Lin Xian was. In this collision, Lin Xian did not fall into a disadvantage at all. Lu Qingzhu was secretly shocked when she saw this scene. This was too frightening, right? A Grand Dominion realm was able to fight against a Great Void stage. Was this not an exaggeration? As for Lin Xian, he was already used to it. You brat, this old man really can't imagine. Grand Preceptor Wen could not help but be shocked. In his era, heroes rose together, and experts were as common as clouds. Under such circumstances, he could not imagine that anyone could achieve this. However, all of this was done by this brat. Could it be that this era was so terrifying? If this era had already reached the point where a brat could fight against a Great Void stage expert, then how could he unify this era? Brat, this old man really can't bear to kill you now. Tell me, what is this era like? Grand Preceptor Wen pointed the monarch's sword at Lin Xian. Then before I answer this question, I wonder if you can tell me why you chose to sleep? Why did you awaken in this era? This was something that Lin Xian really wanted to know. In fact, if it was just them, then Lin Xian would not care. It was very normal and would just be a coincidence. However, other than them, Qin Shi Huang and many other existences chose to awaken in this era. They might be thousands of years apart, but they chose to awaken at the same time. Was this normal? This was not normal. Ha ha ha. If you follow this old man can consider telling you this secret. Oh. Lin Xian raised an eyebrow. You mean, if I don't follow you, you won't tell me? Of course. Alright, then I don't want to know. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. His figure disappeared and reappeared behind Grand Preceptor Wen. The spatial attribute is indeed a very troublesome attribute. It's a pity that your strength is too weak. Even if you can unleash a power that is not inferior to a great void stage expert, that is not your own strength. How long can you last? Lin Xian's lips curled. Perhaps I could have lasted for a long time, but now I don't think there is any need for you to live. So I won't. Let's end the battle here. A poisonous needle appeared in Lin Xian's hand. Chapter 1629. The poison needle was Lin Xian's source of confidence. Where did the poison needle come from? Lin Xian had specially spent system points to exchange for it from the system. The effect was very simple. It was poison. It was a simple poison. However, the poison could even kill a heavenly Dao. As long as a heavenly Dao realm existence was poisoned, they would die. Of course, it was unlikely that a heavenly Dao realm expert with a higher star rank would die from the poison. It was also because of this that Lin Xian was very confident. Now Lin Xian felt that it was a loss to use a poison needle that could kill a heavenly Dao realm expert to kill a great void realm expert. However, Lin Xian had to kill him. If he didn't kill him, Grand Preceptor Wen was an extremely ambitious person. If he was allowed to leave this place and head to the outside world, he would definitely be a scourge. Since he was probably the strongest person present, Lin Xian would be at ease if he died. It was not a loss to use the poison needle. You wish to kill me with a mere poison needle? Grand Preceptor Wen found it ridiculous as he released the might of the Great Void. He felt that no matter what, with the might of the Great Void and his powerful defensive strength, what threat could the poison needle pose to him? However, he had truly underestimated Lin Xian. No. Perhaps he never expected such a thing to exist in this world? Perhaps it didn't exist in the first place, but it was something from the system. It was normal for others to be unable to understand it. Then, the poison needle easily corroded Grand Preceptor Wen's powerful defensive strength, before easily piercing into his body. When the poison needle corroded his defensive spiritual energy, he couldn't dodge it no matter how hard he tried. After being stabbed by the poison needle, Grand Preceptor Wen plummeted from the sky and crashed to the ground. As for Lin Xian, he landed beside Lu Qingzhu. He's about to die. Lin Xian said nonchalantly. Lu Qingzhu. That can't be. Just watch carefully. Grand Preceptor Wen stood there with a look of horror. You. He pointed at Lin Xian. How is it? The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled slightly. Puffed. He spat out a mouthful of black blood and knelt on the ground. How treacherous, how treacherous. Grand Preceptor Wen gnashed his teeth. Treacherous? Then why didn't you choose to dodge? Why did you choose to meet force with force? Is there something wrong with you? Grand Preceptor Wen exhaled. Brat, detoxify this old man. Detoxify you? Did you misunderstand something? I'll detoxify you. Cure this old man's poison, and this old man will give you a treasure. Quick. Grand Preceptor Wen's expression was very bad. Then I'm really sorry, this poison. I really don't know how to cure it. You. Plop. Grand Preceptor Wen fell to the ground. Quick. Detoxify. Detoxify this old man. Before Grand Preceptor Wen could finish his words, his body turned into a pool of blood. Hiss. Not to mention Lu Qingzhu, even Lin Xian was shocked. F***CK. Was this poison really that strong? He had turned him into a puddle of blood in less than 10 seconds? How terrifying. Lu Qingzhu opened her small mouth. What kind of poison was this? How could it turn a virtualized realm expert into a puddle of blood in such a short time? It was normal if you could poison someone to death, but wasn't it a little terrifying to turn someone into a puddle of blood? Phew. Lin Xian breathed a long sigh of relief. King Zhou of Shang was dead, and so was Grand Preceptor Wen. The remaining people wouldn't be able to cause any trouble. Should we kill these people? Lin Xian glanced at Lu Qingzhu. Can you? Damn. The strongest are dead, so how strong can the rest be? But, if some of them are willing to adapt to this world and not do evil, wouldn't it be too cruel to kill them? Lin Xian said. But if one of them is unwilling, they can kill thousands of ordinary people with their strength. You're right. Lin Xian nodded, then began to work. After a long while, Lin Xian cleaned the area of blood. That's one less thing to worry about. Lu Qingzhu nodded. She really didn't think that everything would go so smoothly. In reality, everything had gone so smoothly because Lin Xian had easily resolved the most critical issue. As for everything else, it didn't seem to be a problem. Let's go. Lin Xian confirmed that there were no more problems here before leaving with Lu Qingzhu. This tomb of Emperor Xian should be fine. As for the rest, Lin Xian really couldn't do anything about Emperor Qin for now. Now Dongfang Shui was more important. The two of them appeared outside, where the people outside were still waiting. Some of them had already left, and some of them were still meditating to control the poison. This poison wasn't weak, so it wouldn't take their lives. Those with weaker cultivation bases had to hurry back to their families to find something to neutralize the poison. Lin Xian? They faltered slightly at the sight of Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu. Lin Xian nodded. Is everyone all right? Are you all right? Someone asked. Lin Xian smiled. If I wasn't all right, would I still be standing here? What's the situation inside? Zhang Zhuyang asked. King Zhou of Shang and Grand Preceptor Wen were inside. Gasp. They all drew a collective sharp intake of breath. And then. Lin Xian, they're all dead. What? They looked at each other. Lin Xian. They were all in a deep slumber, and then I killed them. It was that easy. Then how are you so sure that King Zhou of Shang is inside? Lin Xian. Grand Preceptor Wen was waiting in the dark. He couldn't break the formation, so I broke it. When he saw that I killed King Zhou of Shang, he was very happy. He wanted to usurp the throne, but I killed him in the end. That's all. If you're interested, you can go in and take a look. There shouldn't be any danger inside, but I didn't ask why they all woke up at this time. When Lin Xian was slaughtering those who were in hibernation, he had released them a few times and questioned them. However, they couldn't say anything under the threat of death. They really didn't know. Perhaps those who knew were already dead. It was a pity. But it didn't matter, because this was only one. There were others who would have a chance to ask. Those experts definitely needed to go in and confirm, but not now. After that, they left. Lin Xian and Lu Qingzhu also took a plane. Big sister, why are you following me? Lin Xian was helpless. I just want to go in and take a look. If it's not convenient, then I won't go. Look at you, you won't accept my advances, but you still want to follow me. You're making things very difficult for me, okay? Lu Qingzhu. She gave up. You're going to find Dongfang Shui, and you're still saying this? Don't you feel guilty? So are you going to accept me or not? They didn't leave. Chapter 1630. Lu Qingzhu really had to hand it to Lin Xian. His skin was thick to a certain extent. He already had a girlfriend, and more than one, and he even came to flirt with her. That was one thing, but the main thing was that he spoke as if he was really serious and righteous. I don't agree. Lu Qingzhu said. If you don't agree, I'll continue to pester you. Lin Xian said. Up to you. She rubbed her forehead helplessly, then looked out the window of the plane. Are we going directly to Dongfang Shui's place now? Lu Qingzhu asked. Lin Xian nodded. Well, more or less. He had already contacted Dongfang Bai, and Dongfang Bai had prepared everything else. Don't worry, I'm just going to take a look. I also want to know what's going on with her these past few years. I'll leave later. Lu Qingzhu said. She knew that she would disturb Lin Xian there, but she and Dongfang Shui could be considered acquaintances. Back then, there weren't many people she regarded as opponents, and Dongfang Shui was one of them. In fact, she really wanted to know what was going on. Actually, it's nothing. Okay. Soon they got off the plane, took a taxi, and went directly to Dongfang Bai's place. Lin Xian. Seeing Lin Xian, Dongfang Bai and Dongfang Shui's mother, Xiazhu, hurriedly came out to greet him. Uncle Dongfang, Auntie Xiazhu. Lin Xian shouted. Come in and sit. Qingzhu, you're here too. Lu Qingzhu nodded. Yes, I came back with Lin Xian, so I came to visit. Come in and sit together. In the living room, Xiazhu poured tea for them. Lin Xian, I've prepared everything else, but the supreme nether glowing grass. I really can't find it. Dongfang Bai handed Lin Xian a cigarette. Lin Xian, I've found the supreme nether glowing grass. What? Hearing this, Dong Fangbai revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. Lin Xian didn't tell them about this operation, including the fact that Lin Xian had obtained the supreme nether glow grass. In their opinion, Lin Xian was here to check on their progress. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, I specifically went out this time and obtained the supreme nether glow grass. After saying that, Lin Xian stretched out his hand, and the supreme nether fluorescent grass that released a powerful heaven-earth spiritual energy appeared in Lin Xian's palm. They looked at each other and were pleasantly surprised. This Lin Xian really gave them a big surprise. He used to be so weak, but now he was doing something that even he, the master of the Dongfang family, couldn't do. Great! That's great! Dong Fangbai was so excited that the hand holding the cigarette trembled slightly. Then Uncle Dongfang, take out the other things. I'll go directly to your back garden to refine the pill. After refining the pill, we can go find Dongfang Shui. Oh, okay. Lin Xian was refining the pill in the back garden, and Lu Qingzhu and the others were watching from the side while chatting about something. After this incident, Lu Qingzhu more or less understood what was going on. To be honest, she really admired Dongfang Shui. She really admired her. In the past, she felt that those kinds of stories were so brave, but she only saw them in the news, novels, anime, and so on. She didn't think that it really existed in reality. And she was so noble, but she was willing. At the same time, she was also envious of Lin Xian. She was also envious of Dongfang Shui. For her, Lin Xian was willing to sacrifice his life. So it was really worth it. Boom! A bolt of lightning fell, and Lin Xian opened his eyes. His face was slightly pale because he had used too much spiritual power. But now nothing else mattered. The most important thing was that he had successfully refined the pill. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief, and a look of pleasant surprise appeared on his face. Lin Xian, how is it? Xia Zhu hurriedly asked. Lin Xian nodded. It's a success. Then Lin Xian opened the pill refining furnace, and a medicinal fragrance and spiritual power of heaven and earth wafted out. Then Lin Xian took out a pill from inside. This pill, is it enough? Xia Zhu still felt a little incredulous. In fact, as a cultivator, she also knew this, but she just felt that her daughter had been like this for 3 years, and the entire world was helpless. Those Kunlun Mountain, the top forces, and those old monsters were all helpless. But now such a young child had a way, and it was just a simple pill. She just felt that it was a little incredulous. Of course, she hoped that all of this was real. Lin Xian nodded. This pill is really all that's needed. Dongfang Shui was just poisoned, and everything will be fine once the poison is cured. If she were a normal person, it wouldn't be so simple, but she's not a normal person, and her cultivation base isn't low either, so there shouldn't be any accidents. Then does that mean that if we go over now and give her the pill, she'll wake up? Xia Zhu asked excitedly. Lin Xian. Pretty much, but it'll take a while, maybe a few hours, maybe a few days. After all, once the poison is cured, she'll still need some time to recover. Then, let's go over now. Lin Xian nodded. Let's go now. Lu Qingzhu. You guys go, I won't disturb you. I'll go back to the Lu family first. Lin Xian nodded. Alright, take care. Lu Qingzhu definitely wasn't going to disturb them. She was just a little curious, and she basically knew everything now, so it wasn't a big deal. Besides, Dongfang Shui and Lin Xian might meet later, so what was she going to do there? This was a family matter, so wouldn't she be a wet blanket? She was quite happy for them. Lu Qingzhu left, and Lin Xian went with them to the place where Dongfang Shui was. Lin Xian went in, but Dongfang Bai and Xia Zhu didn't. Father, you might be able to see Shui soon. Dongfang Bai looked at Dongfang Tiandao with excitement. Do you guys think he can really do it? Dongfang Tian asked worriedly. He really felt that it was a pity for his granddaughter, and he really wanted to hear her call him grandfather again, but right now he wasn't worried about anything else. He was only worried that everyone's hopes would be for naught in the end. Why did he say that? After all, with Lin Xian's age and whatnot, he should be telling the truth. But what if he made a mistake in his judgment? For a young man like him, there was a high possibility that he would make a mistake in his judgment. It wasn't that they didn't believe him, But, to be honest, they were just worried. They felt like the greater their expectations, the greater their disappointment. Lin Xian gave Dongfang Shui the pill. Chapter 1631. Lin Xian looked at Dongfang Shui, then sat down beside her, and held her hand. Lin Xian didn't know how long Dongfang Shui would take to wake up, but he knew that she would wake up sooner or later. To be honest, Lin Xian was still a little nervous, but he felt guilty. He didn't know what Lin Xian would do after Dongfang Shui woke up. Time slowly passed by. Lin Xian was still waiting outside. It was already dark outside, but Dongfang Bai and Xiazhu were still waiting outside. This was their daughter. Of course they cared about her. It was just that half a day had already passed, but they still didn't know what to do. Lin Xian was still sitting there. He had already talked a lot with Dongfang Shui, so he wasn't too worried. It was just a matter of time before she woke up. After all, Lin Xian had been lying here for so long, so he could understand. On the phone, Lin Xian was chatting with Mu Qingyao with his head down. It had been a long time since Lin Xian left the Mu family. After the battle at Kunlun Mountain, he hadn't returned until now. Mu Feifei had already said that Lin Xian was going to abandon her, which made Lin Xian feel very awkward. I'll say it again, I'm not abandoning you. I have something to do, so you're going to get beaten up. Lin Xian sent a voice message, then raised his head, and his body suddenly trembled. At this moment, Dongfang Shui, who was lying there, had turned her head. She didn't have any other reaction, and just stared at Lin Xian with her eyes wide open. Shui. Lin Xian hurriedly stood up, not knowing what to do or where to put his hands. Dongfang Shui just stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at her with a smile. What's wrong? Dongfang Shui reached out and grabbed Lin Xian's hand. Where are we? Is this heaven? Lin Xian smiled and nodded. Yes, it's heaven. Dongfang Shui sat up and looked at Lin Xian with her big, beautiful eyes. I've been looking for you for a long time. Lin Xian looked at her. I forgot. I can't really remember. Dongfang Shui shook her head lightly. Idiot. Lin Xian sat down beside her and wrapped his arms around her slender body. Dongfang Shui leaned into Lin Xian's embrace, and the two of them sat there in silence. You're the one, Dongfang Shui said in a quiet voice. Then I definitely can't compare to you. You. Dongfang Shui then looked up at Lin Xian. Why is your hand warm? Lin Xian. He couldn't help but smile. Of course, I'm a living person. Of course my hands are warm. You're also alive and well. That's why I said you're a fool. After a long while, after a really long time, Lin Xian finally convinced Dongfang Shui that she was still alive. Lin Xian was also still alive. I feel like I've been dreaming for a long time. That's right, you've been dreaming for 3 years. Little idiot. Why are you doing this? Lin Xian held her hand. If I were a little more mature, I definitely wouldn't have done this. Dongfang Shui teased with a smile. TCH. Lin Xian reached out and pinched her pink cheeks. Dongfang Shui closed her eyes and allowed Lin Xian to pinch her cheeks. What? Are you asking for a kiss? Lin Xian chuckled. She opened her eyes. In your dreams. Lin Xian ruffled her hair and hugged her again. Lin Xian, Then where have you been these past 3 years? Me, Lin Xian looked into the distance. I went to a place very, very far away. That place is called the Heavenly Blue Planet. There was a person who was very similar to me, and I became him. Or rather, I became a new me. There were also humans and demon beasts there, and they were even more powerful than here. The demon beasts were devouring the human race, and the human race was fighting back. There were many interesting girls there. There was one who was very similar to you. She was gentle, but she was very cold to strangers. There was also another. Lin Xian told her about the Heavenly Blue Planet. Dongfang Shui listened in silence. You mean you transmigrated? Dongfang Shui was a little surprised. Do you believe me? I believe you. Lin Xian then continued. In the beginning, I didn't know how I was going to come back, but I came back by chance. I also discovered that there must be some kind of connection between Earth and the Heavenly Blue Planet. So, I wanted to find out more about this. Furthermore, Earth is already Lin Xian told her many things. You've changed so much in the past 3 years. Dongfang Shui said softly. Yes, but you haven't changed at all. Lin Xian planted a kiss on her cheek. But you've changed. Huh. Dongfang Shui looked at Lin Xian and gently stroked Lin Xian's cheek. You've become perverted, you've become smooth-talking. Ahem. Lin Xian coughed dryly. She couldn't help but chuckle. But I don't think I've changed. Shui, there's something I... Dongfang Shui shook her head. I know you don't have to say it. Ha. She looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. I'm not blaming you. Lin Xian smiled. You scared me. Oh right, your parents and grandfather are waiting outside. Go and meet them first. We'll talk about the rest later. Oh right, my parents. Lin Xian stroked her cheek with a smile. Don't worry, I've already received your parents' approval with my super charisma. Dongfang Shui also smiled sweetly. Then Lin Xian helped Dongfang Shui stand up. She was still not used to it. After lying down for so long, it wasn't that she couldn't walk. She just needed some time to get used to it. I don't know what's going on inside. Dongfang Bai paced back and forth. He had been walking for a long, long time, but none of them went in. Dad. A voice sounded, and Dongfang Bai's body suddenly stopped. He abruptly turned around. Shui. Then they hugged each other. Dongfang Bai, this big man, also shed tears. Lin Xian stood there and looked at this scene. Everything was fine. Lin Xian smiled. Finally, a huge rock in his heart was completely lifted. He was really grateful to this divine awakening door for bringing him to this place, for allowing him to return to Earth. Shui, my daughter. Xiazhu hugged Dongfang Shui as tears streamed down her face. Beside her, Dongfang Tian was also secretly wiping away his tears. Your daughter is unfilial. I've made you worry. Dongfang Shui had heard a lot from Lin Xian. She also knew how much pain her impulsive actions had brought to them. She also felt very guilty. Chapter 1632. Tears welled up in the eyes of Xiazhu, Dongfang Bai, and Dongfang Tian. Surprise, excitement. It was truly indescribable. It's okay, it's okay. Just don't be so stupid in the future. It's our fault. It's all our fault. We definitely won't do it again. Xiazhu hugged Dongfang Shui. Thank you, Mom. Dongfang Shui's eyes also reddened. Dongfang Bai turned around and wiped away his tears. Something that could make a grown man cry was truly rare. Especially when he was the head of the Dongfang family. Lin Xian stood behind them and watched this scene with a smile. Come, let's go home. Okay. After that, they returned to the Dongfang family mansion. Of course, it was just their mansion. They finished dinner together and then sat in the living room and chatted for a long time. Dongfang Shui had also completely recovered. It's getting late. Go to bed early. Lin Xian, you can sleep here. Xiazhu said to Lin Xian. In reality, she wanted to chat with her daughter for a while longer, but it was indeed getting late. I don't need to sleep so early. I still want to chat with Dad, Mom, and Grandpa. I've already slept long enough. Dongfang Shui said. Haha, sure. Dongfang Bai chuckled and tossed a cigarette to Lin Xian. Lin Xian took a drag. Lin Xian, when are you going to think about it? Let's hurry up and have this wedding with Shui. Dongfang Bai said. Lin Xian faltered slightly. Dongfang Shui also sat there awkwardly. To be honest, she was a little uncomfortable. She had grown up in an extremely strict environment. Xiazhu and Dongfang Bai were very strict with her. To be honest, she had never thought that these words would come from her father's mouth. Ahem, uncle. What? You don't want to? Dongfang Bai asked. Lin Xian. I do, but... Dongfang Shui looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes and said, Dad, Lin Xian and I are still at an age where we're struggling. I want to talk about this later. Lin Xian said, Yes, Shui still needs to cultivate well first. You're talking as if she can't cultivate after you get married. Dongfang Bai said as he took a puff of his cigarette. Lin Xian chuckled. Uncle, if you get married, you'll have to have a child. If you have a child, Shui, or will have to take care of a child. How is she going to cultivate? Dongfang Shui blushed slightly. I'll help you. Lin Xian scratched his head awkwardly. All right, Dad. We're going to rest. Dong Fengshui hurriedly dragged Lin Xian away. She was a very sensible and virtuous girl, and she had a lot of considerations for others. Of course she wanted to marry Lin Xian. But Lin Xian had hesitated just now. Regardless of what he was hesitating about, Dong Fengshui had to consider Lin Xian's well-being. Dong Fengbai didn't arrange a separate room for Lin Xian. Lin Xian understood, and went straight to Dong Fengshui's room with her. Lin Xian had never entered this room before. To be more precise, Lin Xian had never entered the Dongfeng family's room before. Of course, other than these 2 times. Dong Fengshui pushed open the door, and looked at the furnishings in the room that were almost exactly the same as in her memories. Many memories flooded her mind. Your room is pretty much what I imagined it to be, Lin Xian said. It was a very simple room. It wasn't very beautiful, nor was it very pink. It was also very similar to her personality. Then, Lin Xian walked in, and jumped onto the bed. Soft. Dong Fengshui walked in, and touched many things in the room. Then, her gaze fell on a small jar in the corner of the table. Isn't this my gift to you? Lin Xian said. Yes, Dong Fengshui nodded. Lin Xian took a look. There were many things in the room that he could remember. There were many simple little things that he had given Dong Fengshui. There were small roly-polies, small dolls, wind chimes. There were probably only a few dozen yuan, but she accepted all of them very well. I'm going to take a shower. You can sit anywhere you want, Dong Fengshui said, and then hurried to the bathroom. She had been lying there for so long. Although she wasn't dirty, she just wanted to take a shower. Let's go together. Get up. Dong Fengshui blushed slightly and then hurriedly pushed Lin Xian away. All right, go take a shower. Lin Xian smiled. Okay. Lin Xian then sat on her bed and took out his phone. He hadn't replied to Mu Qingya's message in a long time. He had to reply quickly. Little Qingya, I'm back. It was getting late. Mu Qingya was sitting on the bed cultivating when her phone rang. Then she quickly stopped cultivating and took a look. What's the matter? Huh? Nothing. I mean, did something happen to you? Mu Qingya asked. No, I'm fine now. I'm really sorry, I'll be back in a few days. Mu Qingya sent an okay. Then I'll go cultivate. All right, I won't disturb you. Kiss. Mu Qingya sent a rolling eyes emoji and then didn't reply. They didn't need to talk too much. The main thing was that Mu Qingya knew that Lin Xian was fine. She just needed to see Lin Xian reply to her. She didn't care what he was doing. Even if he was in her bed right now, it didn't matter. Dong Fengshui walked out in her pajamas and dried her hair. Go take a shower, she said to Lin Xian. Then give me a kiss. Go. Dong Fengshui pushed Lin Xian. Okay, I'll go take a shower. After taking a shower, Lin Xian walked out in his pajamas. Dong Fengshui was already sitting on the bed, but Xia Zhu was also in the room. Ahem. Auntie. Lin Xian was immediately put in an awkward position. Xia Zhu glanced at him. I just came to give you 2 cups of milk. Rest early, Auntie won't disturb you anymore. Saying this, Xia Zhu closed the door and walked out. What did your mom say? Lin Xian leaned over to Dong Fengshui and asked in confusion. Nothing, she just said some common things. Dong Fengshui was looking at some things on her phone. These were some of the more important things that had happened during her 3 years of hibernation. Lin Xian then snuggled into the bed, and she leaned into Lin Xian's arms. Do you blame me? Lin Xian asked. Dong Fengshui shook her head. Of course she knew what Lin Xian was talking about. Her parents wanted them to get married as soon as possible, but Lin Xian was hesitating. Logically speaking, Lin Xian wouldn't refuse, but she knew that Lin Xian definitely had his reasons. Actually, I already have other girls. Dong Fengshui reached out and covered Lin Xian's mouth with her hand. Tell me, those stories again. Dong Fengshui looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. Okay. Lin Xian then told her many stories about Sky Blue. Chapter 1633. Dong Fengshui was very engrossed in his stories. These were stories about Lin Xian in the past few years. She was very concerned about them, and she also felt that these stories were all very interesting. especially the people in the stories. They were all very adorable. But, how did you come back? Dongfang Shui asked. Dongfang Shui was the only person on earth that Lin Xian had told about these things. Lin Xian was a little worried that these things would reveal the secrets of the heavens. However, it appeared that the two continents were connected, so this shouldn't be considered as revealing the secrets of the heavens. The only thing that could be considered as revealing the secrets of the heavens was his reincarnation. However, Lin Xian had said that he had transmigrated, not that he had reincarnated. These were two completely different concepts. I'm also very confused. At the time, I participated in a martial arts competition, and I won first place in the competition. Dongfang Shui's eyes lit up as she looked at Lin Xian. The top 10 can enter a place called the God's Awakening Door. It's a very powerful place, but it's said that those who come back from there will forget everything that happened in the God's Awakening Door. Therefore, those who came out from there before don't know what's inside the God's Awakening Door. But when I went in, I found that I had returned to Earth. Dongfang Shui looked at Lin Xian. You're saying that it's a passageway between Earth and the heavenly blue planet? That's what it looks like for now, Lin Xian replied. Then can I go in? Lin Xian shook his head. No, I only know that the passageway to this place is the Divine Enlightenment Door, but to go back, the passageway is opened by a mysterious power. From what I've seen so far, it most likely doesn't have that kind of power. So, you want to go back? Dongfang Shui asked. Lin Xian nodded. Yes. He looked at Dongfang Shui and said, This is why I can't marry you, and it's also why I have to tell you this. Lin Xian then lit a cigarette and said, I need to go back, and I have to go back, not only because I have a lot of things to do there, but also because I only have 3 months on Earth. If I can't get there in 3 months, I will be annihilated by an invisible force. So in order to survive, I have to leave. Dongfang Shui nodded. All right, I understand. Don't tell anyone about this. Dongfang Shui nodded. Then, she thought of something and said, You said, if those people go back from here, they will lose their memories of this place, so will you? Lin Xian nodded. Normally, I would think so, but it doesn't matter. Lin Xian hugged her and said, I have memories of you. I won't forget those memories. At most, I'll forget the memories of the 3 months here. This actually did matter. Because Lin Xian wasn't afraid of forgetting Dongfang Shui, but he was afraid of forgetting Mu Qingya, Mu Feifei, Lu Qingzhu, and Qin Yijuan. Hence, Lin Xian felt like he had to do something when the time came. How powerful were you there? Lin Xian smiled. You can say that. I was about to break through to the heavenly Dao realm. Dongfang Shui's mouth gaped open. You were that powerful? Lin Xian. It's not that I was powerful, it's just that the average person in that world is more powerful. On Earth, the most powerful cultivators are probably at the Great Void stage at most, right? But there are as many Great Void stage cultivators as there are dogs, and many prodigies have also reached that stage. It must be very dangerous there. Lin Xian nodded. It is very dangerous, but I think it's okay. It's actually dangerous everywhere. After all, it's the same everywhere. On Earth, the average person isn't powerful, but that also means that everyone isn't powerful. Although there are powerful cultivators there, you can also be powerful. Then you have to be careful. Lin Xian nodded with a smile. Don't worry. Who would have thought that the poor kid from the past would suddenly become such a powerful figure? Dongfang Shui said with a smile. Then didn't that poor kid from the past also eat swan meat? Lin Xian smiled. Dongfang Shui rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. By the way, have you heard? Lin Xian suddenly thought of something. Something has happened on Earth. I just came out of Emperor Xian's tomb. Emperor Xian's tomb? Isn't that the tomb of King Zhou of Shang? Dongfang Shui asked. Lin Xian nodded. Then Lin Xian told Dongfang Shui about the current situation on Earth. So that's how it is. Dongfang Shui was secretly shocked. That's right. I'm afraid that Earth won't be peaceful in the future. Even though I've destroyed King Zhou of Shang, there are still so many emperors and ambitious people in history. When all of these people are born, no one knows what Earth will become. Lin Xian said. I'm not worried about anything else. I just feel like I won't be here when the time comes. I don't know what kind of beings you'll be facing, so I'm more worried. Don't worry, there are so many powerful beings on Earth. There won't be any problems. Then you have to promise me one thing. Lin Xian looked at her and said, if we really do encounter any danger, I hope that if you can, you won't appear. At most, you can act as a backup character. Don't take the brunt of the attack. Lin Xian knew this little girl all too well. She appeared to be very gentle and virtuous, but deep down, she was a righteous person. She would do this. What was Lin Xian worried about? Dong Fengshui was too beautiful. Most of those powerful beings were men, and this kind of beauty was very alluring to men. If Dong Fengshui showed too much of her face, Lin Xian would be very worried. I promise you. Lin Xian pinched her pink cheeks. Really? Really, I promise. Lin Xian smiled. All right. Then it's time to get down to business. Huh. Clack. Lin Xian turned off the lights. Oi. Dong Fengshui pushed Lin Xian with all her might, and the two of them began to wrestle with one another. Shameless. The two of them were sweating profusely from their tussle, and Dong Fengshui rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Hee, I haven't even gotten down to business yet. How am I shameless? You weren't like this in the past. Dong Fengshui pinched Lin Xian. People change all the time. You're becoming more and more shameless. I've discovered that women love bad men. Is that why you're picking up so many girls? Dong Fengshui rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. No. That's enough. It's time to get down to business. Pervert. Chapter 1634. The night passed by just like that. He had done everything he could. What Dong Fengshui couldn't accept was that Lin Xian had become so bad. The next morning, Dong Fengshui opened her eyes and looked at the sleeping Lin Xian. He wasn't all that handsome, but she liked him. Am I handsome? Lin Xian suddenly asked. Dong Fengshui, baddie. She punched Lin Xian. Ha. Lin Xian then wrapped his arms around her. Dong Fengshui snuggled into Lin Xian's arms. Tell me, how many girls have you bullied? You're no longer the newbie you used to be. You're a seasoned veteran now. Dong Fengshui pinched Lin Xian's waist as she threatened him. She had only had sex with Lin Xian twice, and this time, it was only the third time. Lin Xian had been a little boy before, but now he was so skilled that he could not be more skilled. All kinds of skilled positions made her blush and her heart beat faster. Baddie. Ahem. Lin Xian coughed dryly. Tell me. No, I really didn't. I don't believe you. Dong Fengshui rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. But the one I love the most is you. Go to hell, you've gone bad with your sweet talk. Dong Fengshui rolled her eyes again. Lin Xian smacked his lips against her cheek. What if you're pregnant? Dong Fengshui asked. If you're pregnant, give birth to the baby. Lin Xian chuckled. She bit Lin Xian. It would have been fine if Dong Fengshui hadn't mentioned Lin Xian, but now that she did, Lin Xian missed little Tianny and little Shishir to death. Actually, I have one more thing to tell you. Dong Fengshui looked at Lin Xian. Actually, I already have a baby. Dong Fengshui. To be honest, she really didn't expect this. Where is it? Can I have a look? But she didn't blame him. On the contrary, she was pleasantly surprised. She must be very happy to have a baby with him. On another continent. What a pity. Dong Fengshui asked. But if you want to, I can show it to you. Lin Xian said. Really? What do you think? Is it a boy or girl? Dong Fengshui hurriedly asked. Girls always had a kind of motherly radiance, especially when it came to cute little babies. They absolutely had no resistance. A boy and a girl, Lin Xian said. Twins? Are you really that lucky? Lin Xian shook his head. No, Dong Fengshui. In just 3 years you made a girl give birth to 2 children for you? Do you have a conscience? Dong Fengshui criticized. No, it's 2 girls. Dong Fengshui. Scumbag. Lin Xian. To be honest, he had already told Dong Fengshui so many secrets, so Lin Xian felt like he shouldn't hide anything from her. Alright, I don't mean anything by that. Dong Fengshui then said, I want to see pictures. Alright. Lin Xian didn't have pictures, but he had the laws of creation. Lin Xian only had to rely on the laws of creation in his memory to create pictures. Look, the pictures of little Tianyi and little Shishir appeared in the air. Wow. Dongfeng Shui couldn't help but let loose a cry of surprise. So beautiful, so adorable. Dongfeng Shui exclaimed. To be honest, little Tianyi and little Shishir's looks were unparalleled. They really are so adorable, and so beautiful. Dongfeng Shui was full of praise. Of course they're my babies, Lin Xian said proudly. Come on, it must be because of the girl's looks. With your looks, there's no way you can give birth to such beautiful babies. You've been led astray. When did you learn to insult me? Lin Xian pinched her. Dongfeng Shui stared at little Tianyi and little Shishir. Wow. She really wanted to hug them and rub their cheeks. What are their names? Dongfeng Shui asked. The girl's name is Lin Shishue, and the boy's name is Lin Tianyi. Their names are nice as well. Of course they're my babies, Lin Xian said proudly. I want to see what the girl looks like, Dongfeng Shui said. Cough, don't bother. Lin Xian coughed dryly. Hurry up. Lin Xian rubbed his nose. Alright. Lin Xian then used his memory to create Linglong Shui and Yi Renbing's appearances. Dongfeng Shui looked at them. So beautiful. She couldn't help but exclaim. Of course. Lin Xian. Dongfeng Shui looked on. They really were beautiful. She had never seen such a beautiful woman. Could a woman be so beautiful to this extent? She was also a beautiful woman, and she had seen many beautiful women, but compared to these two, there was really a huge gap. They really are beautiful, Dongfeng Shui said. Lin Xian saw that she seemed to be a little dazed, and he seemed to have guessed what she was thinking. Could it be that she felt that they were so beautiful that she didn't seem as beautiful as she was? Lin Xian then said, Actually, even though they're beautiful, they're a little special. What? Lin Xian then said, They're both from the monster tribe. Monster tribe women? Lin Xian nodded. That's right, they're both from the monster tribe. Monster tribe women are generally very beautiful, and she's from the fox tribe. Fox tribe women are all very beautiful, but in my eyes, you're not inferior to them. You'll definitely be just as beautiful in a couple of years. So you just think that I'm not as beautiful as them. Lin Xian. Holy F *CK. Women. Ahem Shui, you've been led astray. You were never like this in the past. That's because you've become bad. Dongfeng Shui mumbled before looking at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. Why are you looking at me? I'm just wondering, what's so special about you that they're so attracted to you, Lin Xian? She then reached out and pinched Lin Xian. He was still the same. How could a girl like her like him? Most importantly, she even gave birth to his baby. Those who didn't know would think that he was bragging. Handsome. Shameless. Dongfeng Shui then took another look. They really were beautiful. Furthermore, apart from their stunning looks, what made her feel that they were very powerful was their auras. They really were very powerful. Their auras are so good. When can I have such auras? Dongfeng Shui muttered to herself. Big sister, you have your good points. Don't compare yourself to others. Besides, they're all at the heavenly Dao realm, so it's normal for them to have such auras. Dongfeng Shui. They're all at the heavenly Dao realm. How did you manage to woo them? She found it unbelievable. Wasn't he too powerful? Wasn't this Lin Xian a straight man? Chapter 1635. Lin Xian felt like he shouldn't have told her this. Damn women. Lin Xian then said, Let's not talk about this anymore, okay? Lin Xian then erased the image. Then tell me about your story with them. You haven't told me about them before. Wait a minute. Dongfeng Shui thought for a moment. Lin Xian had told her about 2 girls before, and now there were 2 more. This meant that he had at least 4 girlfriends in that world. There was definitely more. Wow. Why was he so perverted now? Just how many girlfriends do you have? Big sister, let's not talk about this anymore. I really can't talk about it anymore. Dongfeng Shui pouted. You already have a baby. But I haven't said anything yet. Just tell me. I won't say anything. Then tell me, is it a single digit or a 10-digit number? Lin Xian didn't say anything. Dongfang Shui. If it was a single-digit number, he would definitely say a single-digit number. Now that he was silent, it meant that it was a 10-digit number. Gasp. This guy. Wow. Then tell me about them. I just want to know how you managed to get them. Don't worry, I don't have any other intentions, and I won't blame you. Dongfang Shui said in a faint voice. All right. Lin Xian then put his arm around her. Then I'll satisfy your curiosity. Lin Xian then told her some of the stories between them. I really like your world. Dongfang Shui then said. That world might seem more powerful, but it's not necessarily better. In terms of so-called stability, that world isn't a stable place at all. Earth completely crushes that world. But now, Earth might not be as stable as it used to be. The overall standard of that world is very high, and they all have their pros and cons. I don't think that world is better or worse. On the contrary, I actually prefer stability. Even if I could live a slightly more ordinary life, I would still choose to live a more ordinary life. Lin Xian said. That's right. I also like an ordinary life. With a little money, I can do the things I like and buy the things I like. Dongfang Shui was telling the truth. He couldn't possibly live a hard life, right? Of course. It didn't matter if she lived a hard life with the person she loved. It was just that she wouldn't have the chance to live a hard life. After all, her family had already agreed to be with Lin Xian. You like that world because you like adventure. There may be more opportunities and a bigger world view in that world. Don't think that I don't know. You usually look gentle and virtuous, but there's a restless heart in your heart. Lin Xian glared at Dongfang Shui. Otherwise, why would Lin Xian remind Dongfang Shui that if a battle were to break out on Earth one day, he hoped that she wouldn't be the first to take part in the battle? This was because Dongfang Shui actually had a ball of fire in her heart. I know. I'll listen to you. Dongfang Shui said in a gentle voice. That's good. Get up. After that, Lin Xian stayed at the Dongfang family for 3 days. During these 3 days, some people in the outside world looked for Lin Xian in a frenzy. Of course, they were Xianyuan Qingtian and Duan Lingxiao. Although the two of them seemed to be working together to kill Lin Xian on the surface, they definitely had their own ulterior motives. For example, they didn't tell each other some special plans. However, they discovered that they couldn't find him. Why did this Lin Xian suddenly seem to have disappeared? Why did he disappear after coming out of DXIan's tomb? They definitely couldn't imagine that Lin Xian was in the Dongfang family right now, nor could they imagine that Dongfang Shui had already woken up, and that Lin Xian and Dongfang Shui were here lovey-dovey. Duan Lingxiao wasn't in too much of a hurry. After all, he still had a little more than 2 months. He didn't believe that he couldn't kill Lin Xian in 2 months. No matter how powerful this Lin Xian was, his current cultivation base was only so high. Moreover, according to the same system, they could only raise their cultivation base to the domain realm. He could only rely on himself to slowly raise his cultivation base. He couldn't forcefully raise his cultivation base using system points. Therefore, no matter how powerful Lin Xian was, this was his limit. If 1 heavenly Dao couldn't kill you, then 10 or 100 heavenly Dao should be enough, right? Even if it wasn't stable, he could find some special items and use some special spirit weapons. Then he would have a chance to kill you, right? And now, Duan Lingxiao had prepared such a thing. To be more precise, he met someone. When did he meet this person? He met him in DXIan's tomb. After leaving DXIan's tomb, he was poisoned, and that person came out with him. To be precise, he didn't know when this person appeared. He seemed to have some special ability. This ability was a very powerful disguise. How powerful was it? She did not know when this person had appeared, nor did she know when he had killed one of the 2,000 people and disguised himself as her. After that, he had come out with everyone else. Duan Lingxiao didn't know why this person was looking for him. Was it because he was special? In fact, Duan Lingxiao had always thought that he was extraordinary. He did feel that there was something special about him. Most importantly, he came from Heavenly Blue Planet, so in his eyes, the people on Earth were actually inferior. He had always looked down on them. If he could come over with the cultivation base he had on Heavenly Blue Planet, he even felt that he would have dominated this place. At this moment, Duan Lingxiao arrived at a cave on a cliff. In this cave, the woman was sitting there cultivating. She was still using the appearance of the person who had disguised herself, so Duan Lingxiao didn't know what she looked like. However, Duan Lingxiao knew that this was a woman. Why did he have to have some contact with this woman? Actually, it was very simple. This woman was very smart and very powerful. Perhaps Duan Lingxiao felt that he needed this woman to kill Lin Xian. Because her disguise was very powerful, Duan Lingxiao had even thought of a way. That was, if this woman helped him, perhaps she could disguise herself as one of the women around Lin Xian, and then take the opportunity to kill Lin Xian. This was because according to Duan Lingxiao's understanding of Lin Xian, this person was indeed lustful. However, he was lustful and would not touch just any woman. However, he still felt that using a woman to deal with Lin Xian was definitely a very good way. And it might be very easy. Did you bring the thing? The woman asked. Chapter 1636. Duan Lingxiao did not like the feeling of someone being superior to him. Although it was just a simple sentence, why did he feel that this woman was superior to him? Most importantly, he could not disrespect her because not only did he need her help, but he was also worried that she would suddenly attack him. He was very confident, but after all, his realm was still there. Yes, I brought it. Duan Lingxiao then took out a jade bottle. What was this? This was a type of elixir. It was a very high-grade elixir on Earth. He had spent a lot of effort in the past few days to get this elixir from Xianyuan Qingtian. Even the entire Xianyuan family didn't have it. Xianyuan Qingtian had asked someone to exchange for it from Kunlun Mountain. After all, Xianyuan Qingtian owed him a debt of gratitude for saving his life, but Xianyuan Qingtian had never repaid him. Xianyuan Qingtian would feel better after repaying this debt of gratitude. He was not a gentleman, so why should he repay the debt? Because in his opinion, Duan Lingxiao would become his important right-hand man in the future. The effect of this pill was actually to consolidate one's realm. However, there was another effect. For example, if one's realm was originally the Great Void Realm, but was now the Heavenly Venerable Realm, it could help one recover to the peak in the shortest time possible. Give it to me, the woman said. But I hope you can fulfill your promise to me. The woman nodded. Don't worry, it's just a small matter. Duan Lingxiao was not sure if she would go back on her word, but he really felt that it was quite difficult to kill Lin Xian. Even if Xianyuan Qingtian was preparing for this, he would not be at ease if he did not do it himself. Moreover, it was related to whether he could survive or not. It was very important. Duan Lingxiao then threw the jade bottle to her. The woman reached out and caught it. Okay, you can go back first. The woman said indifferently. Senior, how long do you need? 3 to 7 days. Okay. Duan Lingxiao nodded, then cupped his fists and walked away. He did not care what this realm would become in the future. Even if he knew where this woman came from, he did not care. After Duan Lingxiao left, the woman opened the jade bottle and took out the pill inside. Ha! She frowned slightly. Just a small recovery pill? If it was just a small revitalizing pill, it wouldn't be of much help to her situation. It had to be a large revitalizing pill. So, at this stage, it's already impossible to refine the Great Recovery Pill? She pondered for a moment. After she came out, she also felt that the heaven and earth spiritual energy in this period of time was terrifyingly weak. It should be a relatively declining era. Therefore, she felt that it was reasonable that the Great Recovery Pill could not be taken out. Then she swallowed the pill. A surge of energy began to gather around her body. Shwa! The shadow of a fox tail suddenly appeared behind her. A fox demon. After a long time, she exhaled a mouthful of foul air. Little sister, big sister is here to look for you. Her eyes narrowed and flashed with killing intent. Then she disappeared on the spot. Although he hadn't fully recovered, it was enough. Right now she had something very important to do. A few days later, Lin Xian was ready to leave the Dongfang family. What he had to do next was actually quite simple, and that was to deal with the Xianyuan family. Or rather, Xianyuan Qingtian. But no matter what, Lin Xian had to go and see Mu Qingya first. It had been a long time since he went back, and Lin Xian felt that he had no conscience. Well, I'll go back to Jiangnan City first. I'll come and see you in a few days. Go on with your business. Dong Fengshui said softly. Lin Xian nodded with a smile. Give me a kiss. Kiss my ass. Lin Xian smiled and smacked his lips at her. I'm leaving. After that, Lin Xian returned to Jiangnan City. All the major sects and forces knew about some of the things that had happened in Emperor Xian's tomb. Lin Xian had brought them very important news. Now there was still the biggest mystery, and that was, why did those people choose to awaken at this time? This was really something that they couldn't figure out at the moment. Sister, brother-in-law is coming back today. In the Mu family's villa, Mu Qingya was sitting in the room and cultivating. Mu Hao and Zhang Ting, who were their parents, were now in charge of the company. Mu Hao's body was fine, and he had returned to the business world. Mu Qingya, on the other hand, had retired. She had been tired for too long, and now she wanted to focus more on cultivation. She was a strong person. She cultivated not only because she wanted to become stronger, but also because she felt that with some strength, she could help Lin Xian and protect herself and her family. Mu Feifei. Just as Lin Xian had expected. When she couldn't cultivate, she couldn't wait to cultivate. She was simply too excited. Indeed, when she first started cultivating, she was very diligent, but now she couldn't take it anymore. It was so boring. Mu Qingya opened her eyes. Did he say that? Yes, brother-in-law said that he couldn't get through to you. Mu Qingya glanced at her phone and found that it had automatically turned off. Well, do you have food at home? Mu Qingya stood up. I think I need to buy some. I'll go buy some food and cook. Mu Qingya hurriedly changed her clothes. Lin Xian's return was very important to her. In the evening, Zhang Ting and Mu Hao hadn't come back yet. They would come back late anyway, and they would have dinner at the company, so they could just eat their own food. Good evening. Qin Yijuan knocked on the door and came here. Qin Yijuan was invited by Mu Qingya, but Mu Qingya originally planned to have dinner and chat with Qin Yijuan tonight. And Lin Xian happened to come back today, so it was really good. Coming, it's almost ready. Mu Qingya came out in an apron with a plate of food. Wow, it's really rare to be able to taste the food made by President Mu. Qin Yijuan teased with a smile. She hadn't changed her clothes, and was still wearing her police uniform. She came directly after work. Yes, I rarely get to eat it. Mu Feifei sat on the sofa and played with her phone. Mu Qingya was too busy with work before. Her cooking skills were very good, but she really didn't have much chance to cook. Now she had a lot of time. I didn't have much time before. Mu Qingya said. Now I have time, but I don't see you asking me to go shopping. Qin Yijuan sat down casually and took an apple to eat. Cultivate. I say, Miss Mu, can't you just have some fun while you can? Chapter 1637. Qin Yijuan really admired Mu Qingya. This person wasn't interesting, didn't like to play, didn't like to eat, and didn't like to dress up. Well, which girl didn't like to dress up? The main reason was that she wouldn't put a lot of energy into it, let alone study certain cosmetics brands. She might really only use those few brands in a decade or two. She finally didn't have to work so hard, and now she was cultivating here. Who could stand it? Mu Qingya said. You have to make yourself better to live a better life, right? I'll go. Qin Yijuan gave her a thumbs up. It's mainly because you have the capital to live a better life now. Don't blame me. Mu Qingya poured her a glass of water and said. You, the eldest daughter of the Qin family, also don't enjoy life. Don't you have to go to work every day? To be honest, they were quite similar. They had the capital to live a good life, but they just didn't enjoy it. The only one who enjoyed it, Mu Feifei, sat on the sofa obediently for no reason. I'm enjoying life. Going to work, solving problems for the people, and so on. Isn't that enjoying life? Then I'm also enjoying life when I go to work, right? Mu Qingya said. Okay, I won't argue with you. Have you made braised prawns? I like your braised prawns. Qin Yijuan said. Yes. Nice. Mu Qingya said. Aren't you going to cultivate? Qin Yijuan said. I've already started cultivating, but I won't say that I'll spend all my time on it. It seems a little silly when I think about it before. If I cultivate, I'll become more powerful and have more strength and capital to be a police officer. Now I see it clearly. Even if I can improve a little bit, it's still an improvement, right? Mu Qingya nodded. That's true. Huh? Where's Lin Xian? I haven't seen him for a long time. He went out to work. He'll be back soon. Qin Yijuan nodded. Well, by the way, how far have you two progressed? We've had sex. Mu Feifei hurriedly said. Mu Qingya glared at her, then stuck out her tongue and smiled. To be honest, I never thought that you, Miss Mu, would be defeated by such a shameless person. Qin Yijuan really felt that the world was unpredictable. That's why you said that he's shameless. It's possible that elder sister would lose to a shameless person, Mu Feifei said. Why are you so talkative recently? Mu Qingya glanced at Mu Feifei. She hadn't been so talkative before, but now that Lin Xian was coming back, it was as if she had been injected with chicken blood. Huh. I've always been talkative. Mu Feifei muttered. Dong dong dong. Lin Xian knocked on the door. Coming, coming, coming. Mu Feifei jumped up and rushed to open the door. Hello, my little baby, I missed you so much. Lin Xian was about to open his arms and hug Mu Feifei when he suddenly saw Mu Qingya from the corner of his eye. F***ck. Someone was here. Lin Xian heard from Mu Feifei that her parents were not here, so Lin Xian became bold, but Mu Feifei was shocked, and then Lin Xian reacted quickly. He put his arm over her head and walked to Mu Qingya with open arms. It seemed that it was nothing. Mu Feifei patted her chest. F***ck. She was scared to death. Lin Xian hugged Mu Qingya's delicate body. Mu Qingya blushed. If it was only Mu Feifei, it would be fine, but there was Qin Yijuan next to her. Anyway, she couldn't stand to show affection in front of others. This was because of her personality. You smell like smoke. Mu Qingya pushed Lin Xian away. This is called masculinity. Isn't masculinity the smell of sweat? Qin Yijuan took a bite of the apple and said. Then what is femininity? Is it also the smell of sweat? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Go away. She rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Mu Qingya poured a glass of water for Lin Xian. Sit down and have a rest. I still have a dish to cook. Okay. Lin Xian then sat down beside Qin Yijuan casually. Violent girl, did you miss me? Lin Xian laughed. What's wrong with you? Hearing Lin Xian's words, Qin Yijuan quickly glanced at Mu Qingya in the kitchen and breathed a sigh of relief. F***ck. What's wrong with Lin Xian? He must be crazy. His girlfriend was right next to him. What was he talking about? And even if Mu Qingya couldn't hear it, Mu Feifei did. So, Qin Yijuan had a ghost in her heart. Why would she have a ghost in her heart? Because Lin Xian was brought to the interrogation room by Qin Yijuan, and something happened between the two of them, and it was very, very ambiguous. This made her feel a little guilty, especially when she heard Lin Xian's words. Wow. She felt so bad. F***ck. What's wrong with me? Lin Xian scratched his head. One look and I can tell that you are an old pervert. Feifei, you have to pay attention to him. Although you are Qingya's younger sister, for a pervert like him, he might have some thoughts about his sister-in-law. Qin Yijuan reminded Mu Feifei. Okay. Mu Feifei nodded. In fact, she had already been. What have you been busy with recently? Lin Xian looked at Qin Yijuan and said. Nothing. I'm just working normally. I'm not as busy as you. Qin Yijuan shrugged and said. I'm not busy. Although I'm not at home all day, I'm out traveling and flirting with girls. Oh, do you dare to say this in front of Qingya? Qin Yijuan raised her eyebrows. Ahem. Lin Xian coughed and then said. Let me tell you, in this family, I'm the boss. Mu Qingya has to do my laundry and cook for me. If I tell her to go east, she won't dare to go west. What's there that I don't dare to say in front of her? I'm the boss. Sister, you're here. Mu Feifei suddenly shouted. Ha. Lin Xian immediately turned his head. There was no one. Ha. Mu Feifei laughed out loud. Humph. Qin Yijuan rolled her eyes. That's it. Ahem. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose awkwardly. I'm starving. Let's go sit at the table first. At this moment, a figure was slowly approaching from the outside. That's right. The person who came here was the woman that Duan Lingxiao found. However, she didn't come here to help Duan Lingxiao kill someone. She didn't even know who Duan Lingxiao wanted to kill. She came here for her own business. Here it is. The woman sniffed and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly, revealing a thought-provoking smile. She came here to find someone. Chapter 1638. In the villa, Lin Xian and the others were sitting there and eating dinner. It was so cozy. Initially, Lin Xian wanted to invite Zhang Yang over for a drink. After all, it was such a rare opportunity. Everyone should just treat it as a gathering. However, Zhang Yang was a very ambitious person. He was still working in the middle of the night. The main reason was that he had taken off. His net worth was in the millions. It was estimated that it would not be long before his net worth reached tens of millions. He really cherished this opportunity. He meant to make an appointment tomorrow. There were still a lot of unfinished work in the company today. He had to finish it, or he would feel sorry for them. Lin Xian smiled. It was a good thing. I say, one of you usually practices, and the other usually runs around and has nothing to do. Are you planning to do this? You two are in a relationship. Don't make the relationship between husband and wife unharmonious. Qin Yijuan said while peeling the shrimp. Mu Qingya ignored Qin Yijuan's husband and wife. But ignoring it did not mean that she was not moved. What husband and wife? They were obviously just boyfriend and girlfriend. Whether they were married or not was still unknown. After Qin Yijuan finished speaking, she dipped the shrimp meat in the soup and was about to eat it. Lin Xian quickly reached out and grabbed the shrimp meat in his hand, then swallowed it in one bite. Qin Yijuan. Hey! Qin Yijuan was furious. I say, you women. You have to peel the shrimp to eat. It's so troublesome. Lin Xian said happily. Humph. Qin Yijuan rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Ask your girlfriend to peel it for you. I don't want it. Little Qingya can eat it herself. It's so delicious. I feel sorry for her. You don't have to peel it for me. Lin Xian said. Humph. Qin Yijuan rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. You peel it for me. Qin Yijuan. What are you thinking? Qin Yijuan glared at Lin Xian. Hey. We are friends, and I helped you. It's reasonable for you to peel it for me, right? Qin Yijuan glared at Lin Xian. I give up. Qingya, aren't you going to say anything? Mu Qingya glanced at them and said, I'm used to it. Hey, sister-in-law, don't just eat by yourself. Show your filial piety to your brother-in-law. Peel some for me. Bah. Peel it yourself. Don't you have hands? That's how it has to be. We can't let him be so arrogant. Otherwise he'll probably have a mistress outside. Qin Yijuan said. Cough, cough. Lin Xian and the other two instantly reacted a little too strongly. It can't be? Why are you guys reacting so strongly? Qin Yijuan opened her mouth. Mu Qingya was a little embarrassed. F***ck. Don't tell me you already have a mistress? Yes. It was inevitable for a man to be so rich. The flowers at home were not as fragrant as the wild flowers. Even Qingya, who was so beautiful, was not enough. Bah. Die. No, I don't have a mistress. Lin Xian said hurriedly. That's true. Mu Feifei murmured. Did he have a mistress or another girlfriend? Qingya, you have to control him. Mu Qingya nodded. Yes, I know. Damn, men are all the same. If you find out in the future, come to me. I'll help you beat the mistress. I can lead a team. Lin Xian. At this moment, Lin Xian suddenly felt something and frowned. Something was wrong. Hey, say something. Qin Yijuan looked at him. Sure, I'm going out. You guys eat. Don't go out. With that, Lin Xian walked out. They looked at each other. What's going on? They felt something was wrong. Because Mu Qingya and the others knew about the martial arts world, and Lin Xian was a very strong martial artist. If it was before, they would be suspicious. But now they were suspicious. Could it be that a martial artist was approaching here? Lin Xian walked out, and walked into the group of villas that didn't seem out of the ordinary. When Lin Xian reached a certain spot, he stopped in his tracks. It was getting late, and there weren't many people in the villa. These rich people rarely came out for a walk. There's no need to hide, right? Come out. Lin Xian said lightly. Didn't they say that there aren't many martial artists in this era? Why is there someone here with a high cultivation level? A woman's voice sounded. Lin Xian turned around and looked at the tree in front of him. A woman was standing on the tree. This era? You just woke up? Lin Xian frowned. Oh, I remember you. She stood there and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian frowned. You remember me? Well, you're a very good man. You destroyed Dxian's tomb by yourself. Lin Xian said. You're from Dxian's tomb. Lin Xian wasn't too surprised, but where was she? Why didn't he notice? In fact, it was normal that Lin Xian didn't notice because Lin Xian's eye of spiritual insight didn't look at the crowd. Or rather, he didn't look carefully. It was normal that Lin Xian didn't notice her sneaking into the crowd. It just so happens that killing you can be considered as revenge for the king. But, why don't I want to kill you? The corners of her mouth curled up slightly, and she licked her lips. King. To be honest, this title made Lin Xian quite sensitive. Why? Because normal people called King Zhou of Shang emperor. If they called her king, she might be King Zhou of Shang's woman. Normally, women who might be King Zhou of Shang would be called king. You're King Zhou of Shang's woman? Well, you can say that. Whoosh, then she landed in front of Lin Xian. Lin Xian released his eye of spiritual insight. Beautiful. However, Lin Xian suddenly frowned. Why was Lin Xian surprised? Because of her appearance. No wonder I didn't notice you. You've changed your appearance. Oh, you can see through my disguise? She looked at Lin Xian with interest. Why did she talk so much to Lin Xian? First, Lin Xian was a little special. She had seen most of Lin Xian's powerful moves in Dxian's tomb. She felt that this person was not simple, and might be of great help to her. Second, he wasn't very strong. In her eyes, he could control life and death at will, so she wasn't very worried. However, on second thought, even Grand Preceptor Wen had died at his hands, so she was still a little wary. Although she hadn't been there at the time, she'd left a trace of her consciousness there, so she knew what had happened. However, the more important reason was that she wanted this person to be on her side, and not her enemy. To put it simply, in her eyes Lin Xian was valuable, and he was very valuable. I know why you're here. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. Chapter 1639. This woman gave Lin Xian a very dangerous feeling. But that was not important. The most important thing was this woman's true appearance. Her appearance was exactly the same as Qin Yijuan's. That's right. They were exactly the same. That was very strange. Why would she have the same appearance as Qin Yijuan? But Lin Xian knew that her purpose for coming here was not for him, Lin Xian, but for Qin Yijuan. No matter what, Lin Xian would not let her get close to Qin Yijuan so easily. Lin Xian was not sure if it was a good or bad thing. Oh, tell me about it. The woman's lips curled up as she looked at Lin Xian. There's a woman in the villa who looks exactly like you. You're here to look for her, right? It seems that you can really see through me. Interesting. Follow me. In the future, you'll be above everyone else. How about that? Ha ha ha. Lin Xian laughed out loud. I say, you people are really interesting. Oh, why do you say that? Each of you is really ambitious. Below one person and above everyone else. If all of you say that, then who is really above everyone else? You? Can you? Lin Xian looked at her. They can't, but I can. Really? I wonder where you get your confidence from. She smiled. Once the entire Deshang was mine. King Zhou of Shang was below me. What do you think? Lin Xian frowned. Deshang was hers? King Zhou of Shang was below her? But King Zhou of Shang was the emperor of Deshang. How could it be? Could it be that King Zhou of Shang was her puppet? Or could it be that she controlled King Zhou of Shang? Could it be that she was the true master of Deshang? Wait. Lin Xian suddenly realized something. Sudaji. Where did this femme fatale come from? It was this Sudaji. She had bewitched King Zhou of Shang. The reason why King Zhou of Shang was a tyrant was because a woman named Sudaji had bewitched him. This was a rumor that could not be verified. However, according to this rumor, if Sudaji had bewitched King Zhou of Shang, then Sudaji's control of King Zhou of Shang and the Shang dynasty seemed reasonable. And she was indeed beautiful. Qin Yijuan was truly very beautiful. If she continued to cultivate and improve her seductive temperament, to be honest, she definitely had the capital to bring disaster to all living beings. Then Qin Yijuan. Oh, you know quite a lot. But you might be wrong about one thing. I'm not Sudaji. Lin Xian frowned. Then, she raised her hand to look at Lin Xian, and pointed in another direction. In that direction, 3 heads poked out from a room on the second floor. They were Qin Yijuan, Mu Qingya, and Mu Feifei. They didn't know what was going on. Anyway, they didn't leave the room, so they wondered if they could see something from the window. Then, they came to the window on the second floor and really saw Lin Xian standing there with a woman. At first, they felt that something was wrong. Could it be that Lin Xian was deliberately pretending and was actually secretly dating with the girls here? But thinking about it, this person didn't have to do this, right? Especially Mu Qingya. She felt that since she knew that Lin Xian had more than one girlfriend, he didn't have to do this, right? Moreover, the two of them didn't seem to be acting intimately. Seeing the woman pointing at them, the 3 girls quickly retracted their heads. Look, this woman is pointing at us. Maybe she's another woman Lin Xian found outside, but she didn't know that Lin Xian was your girlfriend, and was fooled by him. Now, she's pointing at you and confronting Lin Xian. I think that's possible. Qin Yijuan said. I don't think so. Mu Qingya shook her head. Damn. Qin Yijuan didn't say anything. Lin Xian frowned and looked over. Obviously, this woman was definitely not pointing at Mu Qingya and Mu Feifei, but at Qin Yijuan, because Qin Yijuan looked exactly like her. You mean the woman who looks exactly like you is Sudaji? Lin Xian looked at her and said. Yes, and I'm here to kill her. She licked her lips. She's your older sister or younger sister. You want to kill her? Is there a problem? So, are you going to help me or stop me? If you help me, I'll give you glory and wealth. If you stop me, I'll make you go down together. The woman was full of confidence. Back then, when Sudaji entered the world, she met King Zhou of Shang and fell in love with Sudaji. After that, Sudaji's older sister, Sudalin, was the woman in front of Lin Xian now, and they were biological sisters. But for the demon clan, sometimes family was not that important. Not to mention the demon clan, sometimes even family was not that important to some people of the human clan. Back then, Sudalin was very ambitious. Her ambition made her realize that King Zhou of Shang actually liked her younger sister. This was a great opportunity for her because it was King Zhou of Shang. With King Zhou of Shang's help, she might have the capital to fulfill her ambitions. Then she killed her younger sister. Why did she kill her? Because only by killing her could she be done once and for all. Otherwise, even if she explained it to her clearly, if she appeared somewhere, the fact that she was pretending to be Sudaji might be exposed. Moreover, she had said it at that time. But Sudaji had tried her best to oppose her ambition. They were on completely different sides. Therefore, she killed Sudaji and became Sudaji, King Zhou of Shang's most beloved concubine. Now that she had awakened, why did she have to kill Sudaji? The current Sudaji was only a reincarnation, and did not have the cultivation she once had. After all, she had done this before. If she allowed such a great threat to continue living in this world, it would be a disaster. In for a penny, in for a pound. Moreover, she needed to devour Sudaji's demonic power. Even if she did not have any demonic power now, it was still a great supplement to her. After devouring it, her cultivation could at least return to its peak. As for King Zhou of Shang, she definitely did not like him. Now if King Zhou of Shang died, then so be it. Perhaps this is not important for now. I want to know. Why are you in hibernation? Why are you awakening at this time? To Lin Xian, this was already an enemy. But so what if she was an enemy? She had not made a move yet. It was obvious that this woman was very conceited. If he could get this information from her, it would be very important for Lin Xian. Chapter 1640. Su Delin's beautiful eyes looked at Lin Xian. You brat, are you trying to stall for time or what? Do you think stalling for time is useful? Either you follow me or you die. You choose. Lin Xian smiled and said, looks like you don't know. Trying to goad me? Su Delin sneered. Childish brat, if that's the case, I won't waste my breath with you. Whoosh! As soon as she finished speaking, a wave of energy erupted from her body. The energy that she released caused both her and Lin Xian to disappear from where they stood. Back then, she had devoured that woman. After devouring her, she had obtained an ability. That ability was to obtain that woman's memories. Therefore, although she was once a person, she was now completely familiar with some things in modern society. She also knew about things like surveillance cameras, so she definitely didn't want to be discovered at the moment. Therefore, she released a burst of power and brought Lin Xian into her domain. Well, although she could easily control Lin Xian's life and death, to be honest, she was still afraid of the power Lin Xian had displayed before. She felt that it was better to be careful and get rid of him first. In the darkness, Lin Xian and her stood there facing each other. Lin Xian sensed for a moment. He didn't know the specific effects of this domain, but Lin Xian could sense this woman's realm. Great Void Stage 7 stars. She was indeed very strong. Furthermore, it was definitely not her full cultivation. It was just that she had not fully recovered. However, it was still alright. After all, Lin Xian had killed a 5 stars absolute void stage martial artist. Hence, it was still acceptable that she was now a 7 stars absolute void stage martial artist. Ha ha ha, Lin Xian chuckled. Since you've said it, you should know that I've killed your grand tutor one who was at the 5 stars of the virtuous void stage. Do you think that you, who is only at the 7 stars of the virtuous void stage, can take advantage of me? Ha ha ha, you're quite confident. Otherwise, why would I dare to come out and look for you? Lin Xian twisted his neck and said, oh, is that so? Then let me test your strength. But you have to understand that you are now in my domain. Then, her pupils glowed pink. Of course, Lin Xian knew that this was her domain. So he had been wary of this domain from the very beginning. Only when the power of the domain erupted did Lin Xian understand that the effect of this domain was to make Lin Xian lose his consciousness. Simply put, he would be charmed by this woman. Once charmed, it was equivalent to losing all ability to move and fight. He was quite strong. But no matter what, her powers belonged to the bewitching category. Even though Lin Xian's eye of spiritual insight seemed to be the ability of his eyes, as long as Lin Xian activated it, he wasn't afraid of these fancy effects at all. Therefore Lin Xian stood there without any clues. He opened his hands and held the Xianyuan sword and the holy sword in his hands at the same time. Lin Xian could guarantee that he would be fine, but Lin Xian didn't dare to say that he could kill her. Previously, Lin Xian relied purely on poison to kill Grand Preceptor 1. Now Lin Xian didn't have this poison, so he didn't have the capital to kill this woman. But now no matter what, Lin Xian must solve this matter. If he couldn't, then whether it was himself, Qin Yijuan, or anyone else, they might be in danger. Xianyuan sword. Su Delin's eyes looked at the sword in Lin Xian's hand. At that time, she also saw it with her divine sense, but she wasn't sure. But now she was sure. This must be the Xianyuan sword. She felt that it was a little ridiculous. Why would such a divine weapon fall into the hands of a brat? She felt that it was a little unbelievable. But she wanted it. This was definitely the top power in this world. It didn't seem strong, but that was because he might not even have released 1/10,000th of the Xianyuan sword's power. To be honest, after confirming that it was the Xianyuan sword in his hand, she didn't dare to make a move at that moment. Because if the Xianyuan sword erupted with a powerful force, she wouldn't even know how she died. But according to the previous situation, although he held the Xianyuan sword in his hand, he shouldn't have the capital to release the true power of the Xianyuan sword, right? It should be that the seal on the Xianyuan sword hadn't been completely removed. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the capital to hold the Xianyuan sword as a domain realm cultivator. And now, the most important thing was that he was actually fine. He was in her domain, so why was he fine? As expected of a magical brat. To be able to live peacefully in my domain. Su Delin's beautiful eyes narrowed. So, do you think I'm afraid of you? Lin Xian said indifferently. Do you think that with the Xianyuan sword in your hand, you're a match for me? Do you think that Grand Preceptor one is on the same level as me? Then, the shadow of a fox's tail appeared behind her. To be honest, I don't really want to make a move on you. Lin Xian took a deep breath. He couldn't really control the Xianyuan sword, and the specific reason might be that his cultivation level wasn't high enough. He really couldn't do anything to this woman, but Lin Xian still had the system. There were still things in the system that could be exchanged. For example, Lin Xian definitely wouldn't force a fight with her, because Lin Xian wouldn't gain anything from it. If he could avoid a fight, naturally he would do so. If he couldn't, then he could only use other methods. Lin Xian originally wanted to scare her, but he didn't manage to do so. So he could only use this. Oh, she sneered, and at the same time her voice sounded. Do you mean that even if you make a move, it'll still be useful? To be honest, she didn't really want to kill the person in front of her, because he was indeed very special. But now, the Xianyuan sword in Lin Xian's hand was very tempting to her. So, if Lin Xian didn't surrender, then she could only kill him. Well, you can try. Pretentious. Then Su Dalin's strength erupted as she charged at Lin Xian. Lin Xian took out something in his hand. Su Dalin saw it, but she didn't know what it was. She was careful that it was the poison that killed Grand Preceptor one. However, Lin Xian didn't have that poison, so he couldn't exchange it. He could only exchange it once. And this time, Lin Xian exchanged for Power Seal. That's right. To put it simply, after Lin Xian exchanged for this item, as long as her cultivation level was below the Heavenly Dao realm, then Lin Xian could seal her cultivation level, turning her into an ordinary person. As for the time, it could take 3 days or even longer. It was still very useful, and it was worth using now. Chapter 1641. Plop. Su Dalin's body fell to the ground in midair. She rolled twice on the ground, then quickly stood up. She raised her head and looked at Lin Xian dumbfounded. At the same time, they had already come out of Su Dalin's domain, and stood on the passage in the villa complex. Su Dalin tried again. Where was her spiritual power? Why couldn't she use her own spiritual power? Her cultivation was still there, but she had no spiritual power. What? What did you do? Her face had completely changed. She couldn't imagine why. Her worldview had collapsed. This was completely beyond her understanding. Say, even if you have some ability to seal her power, you should at least make her fall for it, right? For example, a poisonous needle, or something she ate, or the power of a spiritual weapon. But you didn't. She saw Lin Xian take out something she didn't know, but he didn't release any power. She suddenly lost her power. Lin Xian slowly walked over. Can we talk now? With that, Lin Xian dragged her to a place where there was no one. Then he released his spatial power and brought her to an absolutely desolate place. Su Dalin was doubting her life. She sat on the ground, dumbfounded. Patter. Lin Xian sat on a rock in front of her, then crossed his legs and lit a cigarette. In the middle of the night, the flame of the cigarette shone on Lin Xian's face. Su Dalin looked at Lin Xian. Don't think about why. Lin Xian took a puff, then said, you should think about what you can do to survive. If I want to kill you, it's just a matter of using my hands. You should know that, so if you can be obedient, maybe I won't kill you. I believe you cherish your life more than anyone else. Su Dalin sat there and looked at Lin Xian. She lost. She definitely didn't expect this. She didn't underestimate this person anymore, but why? She was really doubting her life now. However, it seemed that she had no choice but to compromise. Damn it. She was convinced. What's going on? Was this person too special? Or were there a lot of such people in this era? I didn't expect that I would be defeated by a little brat. Su Dalin laughed self-mockingly. But as for whether she was mocking herself or putting on an act to show her weakness to Lin Xian, only she knew. And Lin Xian definitely wouldn't let his guard down just because of her. For such a person, even if her spiritual power was sealed, she might still have the power to kill him. Therefore, Lin Xian still maintained a certain distance from her. Give that to me. Lin Xian pointed at the spatial ring on her finger. Su Delin was a smart woman. She took it off and threw it to Lin Xian. Shua, suddenly Lin Xian's figure disappeared from the spot. Because behind the spatial ring, Su Delin threw out a silver needle. Lin Xian was already mentally prepared and easily dodged it. Su Delin failed. She was completely out of options now. Lin Xian stood not far from her. He reached out and the spatial ring fell into his hand. I advise you to stop doing this kind of thing. Do you think that I won't kill you because you're valuable to me? Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. Then he flashed in front of her and reached out to grab her neck, lifting her up. Awesome. Previously, this woman had the upper hand, but now it was his turn. But Lin Xian felt terrible. She looked exactly the same as Qin Yijuan. How was Lin Xian supposed to defend her? Lin Xian was soft-hearted, so he felt that it was best not to kill Lin Xian. But he had no choice. Lin Xian could only kill him. Then Lin Xian threw her aside and took a puff of his cigarette. Su Delin had accepted her fate. How can I survive? Su Delin asked. Lin Xian laughed. Survive? I said, it depends on whether you're obedient or not. Originally, you had a 50% chance of surviving, but because you attacked me, it's probably only 10% now. Then there's still hope, right? Then can you return my cultivation base to me? I promise you that I won't touch you. That won't do. Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. Su Delin stood up and looked at Lin Xian. This woman was very dangerous. Lin Xian didn't dare to face her lightly. Now you can answer my question. Tell me about your relationship with Su Daiji. Su Delin stood there and told Lin Xian many stories. You're really ruthless. You even killed your own sister. If the first time isn't enough, you're going to kill her a second time. Su Delin laughed and said, what can I do? For the demon race, there's not much demand in this aspect. Moreover, if I don't kill her, what will I do when my sister grows up and awakens? Is that the only reason? That's really the only reason. My sister's talent and strength are much stronger than mine. For the demon race, her lifespan is so long. If I don't kill her, the wildfire won't burn her out. She'll be reborn when the spring breeze blows. Then the one who dies will be me, right? Lin Xian tapped his chin lightly. So, why didn't you think of this when you attacked and killed your sister? With your meticulousness, you should have thought of this, but you still let her reincarnate. Lin Xian looked at her. Su Delin paused, then smiled and said, it's nothing. I just forgot. After all, it's the first time I did such a thing. I killed my own sister. Isn't it normal that I didn't think about it so thoroughly? For example, this time, I had to destroy her spirit. Is that so? Lin Xian rubbed his chin. That's quite ruthless. Then, there's a question that I'm very concerned about. Other than the people of the Shang dynasty, many other dynasties, and even some people who are thousands of years away from you, chose to awaken at this time. So, what exactly made you wake up at this time when the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is weak? You can tell me this, right? Of course, you can choose not to tell me. Then you'll definitely die. If you tell me, maybe you can still live. Of course, I'm just saying maybe. Lin Xian said as he smoked. About this, Su Delin furrowed her brows. Why? You can't tell me? It's not that I can't tell you. I'm just thinking about how to make you believe me, Su Delin said. Chapter 1642. Lin Xian looked at Su Delin. You don't have to think about what to say. You just have to speak the truth. Su Delin pondered for a moment before saying, actually, this all originated from a legend. Legend? Heh, don't talk nonsense with me. So many of you will seal yourselves for a legend? What a joke. Do you think I'm stupid? Lin Xian snorted. Su Delin pondered for a moment before continuing. Perhaps it's a legend, but it's a legend that has been completely verified. Therefore, rather than a legend, you can also call it the truth. What legend? Lin Xian asked. Legend has it that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in this era will reach an unimaginable low. In other words, this era will be the most barren era for warriors. Oh, then why did you all come out in this era? Su Dalin said. I'm not done yet. Although that's the case, after this era, the continent will experience an unprecedented era of prosperity. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth in this era will far surpass that of the era of the gods. The era of the gods gave birth to descendants such as Niwa, Pengu, and other powerful beings. After that, it was our era. The strongest aura was Jiangxia, Neza, and the others. They were also considered powerful beings, but compared to Niwa and Pengu, they were still lacking. Therefore, you say, she looked at Lin Xian and said, back in our era, the strongest was nothing more than this. However, this era will reach a level of prosperity that was never seen in the eras of Pengu and Niwa. In this era, we have the opportunity to become almighty beings. We have already reached the heavenly path realm. After awakening and recovering our cultivation, we will be able to seize this opportunity when the time comes. Lin Xian frowned. Holy shit. There was such a thing? Although the special method of hibernation is dangerous, because you may even die during the hibernation, and you won't even know who killed you. However, there is no passage of time during this period. For the heavenly Tao, one's lifespan is only a few thousand years. Even if I'm from the demon clan, so many years have already passed. Even if I can live until the arrival of this era, I don't have that much time to reach that realm. Therefore, I can only hibernate together. Those people you mentioned in the last 1,000 years must have heard about this matter, so those with the ability naturally chose to seal themselves and hibernate, waiting for the arrival of this era. The truth? Su Dalin laughed and said, even if it's false, what's the point of saying it to you? What's in it for me? Lin Xian lit another cigarette. How much longer? According to legend, half a year. Lin Xian. So in half a year, all the demons and experts will appear. That's right. When that time comes, this world will no longer be like this. It will be a world where humans, demons, and even all sorts of evil will coexist. Peace will no longer exist. Therefore, I'm reminding you that before this era arrives, if you have the ability, unify this place. When the era arrives, you will be the person in charge here. You will also be in charge of the most treasures and heaven-earth spiritual items. You are also the most likely to have the qualifications to reach that realm. Therefore, follow me and I'll promise you a future. Lin Xian laughed and said, I say you are really interesting. I can easily control your life and death, but you still want me to follow you. Su Dalin laughed and said, you can't possibly ask me to follow you, right? Wouldn't that be a joke? Yeah. Lin Xian stroked his chin and said, I think it's feasible. Su Dalin frowned. Your words have earned you a chance to live. Follow me and be my underling, and I will spare your life. If you are obedient, I won't forget about you if there are any benefits in the future. Su Dalin's beautiful eyes narrowed. You are not qualified. Whoosh, a bolt of lightning struck her. In terms of strength, I may not be as good as you, but that's not important. What's important is, which one will you choose? Su Dalin stood up and patted the dust off her body. Then it seems that I can only choose the latter. Lin Xian laughed and said, no one will go against their own life, unless they don't want to live. However, you have a ticking time bomb by your side. Aren't you worried? Therefore, I suggest that you release the seal and I won't be calculative with you. Lin Xian laughed. I say, you are really interesting. However, you don't have to worry about whether I am afraid or not. You are a ticking time bomb by my side. Bang, an alchemy cauldron landed in front of them. What are you doing? Lin Xian then released a spatial seal to seal her in place. Refining pills. Half an hour later, a bolt of lightning struck and Lin Xian finished refining the pill. Su Dalin watched him refine the pill. She also knew that the pill he refined was definitely not simple. After all, it attracted a bolt of lightning, so it must be a relatively powerful pill. The lid of the alchemy cauldron opened, and a burst of poisonous energy burst out. Lin Xian took out a pill from inside and walked towards Su Dalin. Eat it. Lin Xian handed it over. What is this? Something that will make you obedient. You want me to be your puppet? Then I would rather die. Lin Xian laughed and said, No, 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 you won't be a puppet. Don't worry, it will only make you obedient. After speaking, Lin Xian pinched her mouth and fed her the poisonous pill. Cough, cough. Su Dalin coughed a few times. She was convinced. She never expected that she, who was so good at strategizing, would be defeated by a brat. Once the entire Great Shang was hers, but now, you can forget about finding a way to detoxify this poisonous pill. I'm sure you've seen how my poison can seal your power. The effect of the poisonous pill is very simple. You'll be fine normally, but as long as you have crooked thoughts about me and plot against me, then you'll suffer. Is that so? Su Dalin did not believe it. She then puffed. She spat out a mouthful of blood, and then her entire body was in unbearable pain. It was true. It was over. Lin Xian laughed and said, What? You still want to try? Then you can try again. Su Dalin laughed bitterly. What do you want me to do? I never wanted you to do anything. I just wanted to make you less threatening. Oh right, this poisonous pill has another effect. It can be considered a mother and child pill. If I die, you'll die too. Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. Su Dalin's pupils shrank. Chapter 1643. Su Dalin really had no other choice. She was really cured. Then can you return my cultivation to me now? Su Dalin asked. I don't really want to right now. It depends on your performance. Oh right, you have a mission from now on. Su Dalin. I'm sure you know the 3 girls in the villa, including your sister. Su Dalin frowned. Protect them well. You want me to protect a few people? Who do you think I am? The entire Dashang used to belong to me. You want me to protect a few useless people? You haven't gotten used to your current identity yet. You're now a prisoner. Lin Xian. Su Dalin was speechless for a moment. Actually, Lin Xian was quite assured of her. Why? To a very ambitious person, life was even more precious. She definitely wouldn't fight to the death with him. Moreover, Lin Xian didn't intend to treat her badly, unless she was disobedient. All right, Su Dalin said. As for your sister, what are your plans? Lin Xian asked. Didn't you say so? Protect her well. You're worth teaching. Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. Don't worry. There are too many ways to deal with your sister. It's normal for her to awaken her memories. Just pretend that you're very close to her. You don't need me to teach you this, right? Then when can you return my cultivation to me? In a few days. All right. Now, I'll show you why I'm confident that you can follow me. Lin Xian said. Then Lin Xian took out a pill. What's this? How long will it take for your cultivation to recover to the heavenly Tao? I need a recover pill. If you don't have one, you can just devour my sister. Lin Xian. Then Lin Xian threw the pill to her. When the time comes, I'll help you refine the Great Recovery Pill. When you consume it at the Heavenly Tao realm, you will be able to raise your cultivation by 2 realms. As for whether it's real or fake, you should be able to sense the spiritual energies in the pill. Besides, there's no need for me to lie to you. You have already consumed the poison, so there's no need for me to do anything else. Su Dalin looked at Lin Xian. Aren't you afraid that I'll betray you? If I was afraid of that, do you think I would give you this? Su Dalin pondered for a moment. To be honest, although this person's realm was ordinary, the things he took out really surprised her. Moreover, the Xian Yuan sword was also in his hand. This person really didn't seem to be so simple. Then when are you going to refine it for me? We'll talk about it when you become obedient. Su Dalin nodded. Okay, no problem. Now that she thought about it, she didn't seem to have lost anything. Instead, she could use him to break through. If she didn't have this pill, even if she recovered to her peak, to the demon race, it would take hundreds or even thousands of years for her to reach the 2-star realm. However, because of this pill, she was still very excited. Of course, the prerequisite was that this pill was real. However, what Lin Xian said also made a lot of sense. Moreover, she could feel the terrifying spiritual energy and medicinal power from this pill. She felt that it was real. No matter what, this pill was definitely not an ordinary pill. Moreover, it was definitely not a poisonous pill. It was very easy to distinguish between a poisonous pill and an ordinary pill. She would first find an opportunity to see if she could cure herself of the poison. Once her poison was cured, she would have nothing to worry about. It wasn't that she couldn't accept living under someone else's roof. After all, although she used to control the Great Shang dynasty, she had always relied on King Zhou. In fact, she was already used to it. She only needed this real power. No, but this time, she didn't only want real power. She wanted everything. Let's go back and meet them. Are you sure? You'll be living there in the future. What's there to not be sure about? Lin Xian said. Lin Xian didn't plan to let her live in a secret place. They would live together. He believed that with the kindness of those girls, she would slowly be infected. Moreover, Lin Xian was confident that she wouldn't betray him. In fact, your own pill just now had subdued her. Moreover, although this woman was ruthless and unscrupulous, Lin Xian could still see that she had a normal human nature. She wouldn't go so far as to say that she had lost her humanity. Why? Yes, although she killed her sister, she didn't destroy her soul. The so-called forgetting should be an excuse. She did it on purpose. Although her sister died in that life, her sister could reincarnate and start a new life. Perhaps from a human's point of view, this matter was still cruel. However, from the point of view of a top cultivator, as long as her soul wasn't destroyed, she wasn't really dead. In fact, this wasn't a big deal. All right. Then Lin Xian released the power of space and left with Su Delin. Sister, what do you think Lin Xian is doing? Don't tell me he went to have sex? Mu Feifei sat there and rested her chin on her hand. Qin Yijuan. Mu Qingya. This Mu Feifei was really something. Every time she spoke, she could kill them. I don't know. I hope he's fine. She hadn't come back for so long. To be honest, she was really worried. Click. Lin Xian opened the door and walked in. Hey. The three girls hurried over. What happened? What happened? They asked hurriedly. There's something more important. Lin Xian. What? It's about you. Lin Xian looked at Qin Yijuan. Me? Qin Yijuan frowned. Do you believe in reincarnation? Because they were already martial artists, there were some things that didn't need to be said. Moreover, according to Su Delin, in half a year, the earth would have a different appearance, and even the spiritual power of heaven and earth would reach an unimaginable level. The entire earth would know a lot of things, and their worldview would change. They just knew it in advance. Reincarnation is rebirth? Is it true? This can't be true, right? Lin Xian nodded. It's true. And then? Qin Yijuan looked at Lin Xian. You have a sister. Qin Yijuan. She was your sister many years ago. Of course, she can be said to be your sister now. She didn't reincarnate, but you did. Now she's here to look for you. I'm afraid you can't accept it, so I'm telling you in advance. Don't ask too much about your previous life, and you don't need to know. You just need to know that she was your sister in your previous life. The three girls. Their heads were buzzing. What? What was this? Were they shooting a movie? Chapter 1644. Qin Yijuan looked at Lin Xian dumbfoundedly. Hey, if you're possessed or controlled by someone, blink 3 times. Qin Yijuan touched Lin Xian's head. Lin Xian. Sister, I'm serious. But, isn't what you said a little too fantastical? You've already come into contact with cultivation, and know about the existence of many things. Why you don't believe this? It's not that I don't believe it. I just feel that it's unimaginable. Qin Yijuan shook her head and said, yes, for a normal person, when you know that there are people in this world who cultivate, your worldview will collapse. But fortunately, this is at least something you can imagine. But reincarnation, although it has been shown in many TV shows, when it really appears in front of you, it's really hard to accept. Especially when someone tells you that you've died before, and now you're reincarnated. You have an older sister from your previous life, and now she's coming to find you. F*ck. Who can withstand this? So I'm telling you in advance so that you can be mentally prepared. Chin Ijuan nodded. The two girls beside her were also stunned when they heard this. Then where is she? Chin Ijuan asked. Come in. Lin Xian said, and then Su Dalin swayed her body and walked in. What the F*ck? Mu Feifei's mouth was wide open. What? Who can withstand this? It's exactly the same. It's really exactly the same, only the hairstyle is different. But this sister's hairstyle doesn't cover her face, so you can tell at a glance that it's exactly the same. Aren't they F*king twins? Because they were very familiar with Chin Ijuan. When they saw Su Dalin, it was really too familiar. Chin Ijuan was also dumbfounded as she stood rooted to the ground. What the F*ck? She was dumbfounded. Okay. It's okay that she had an older sister in her previous life, and it's okay that this older sister came to find her, but why does she look exactly the same as her? If her parents knew about this, wouldn't they go crazy? What? Mu Feifei moved closer to Su Dalin, then reached out and poked Su Dalin's face. So tender, it's a real person. Aren't you a fool? If this isn't a real person, then what is? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Su Dalin was very unhappy, but she still had to smile. Bastard. How dare a lowly human poke him in the face? Bastard. Let me see if you're in disguise. What if you're lying? Big sister, what good does it do for me to lie? Lin Xian rubbed his forehead. That's true. Chin Ijuan was dumbfounded. What the hell? She, why does she look like me? She knew her own appearance all too well. Now that a woman who looked like her had appeared out of nowhere, she was completely dumbfounded. But this woman's age. She just looked like she was a few years older than her. She might be in her mid-20s, but she looked exactly the same. Because you were twins at that time, and the reincarnation of a person will not change their appearance, so you are the same. Lin Xian said. So that's how it is. Chin Ijuan looked at Su Dalin. Hello, my name is Su Dalin. Su Dalin? Wow. What a beautiful name. Do you know Su Daji? Mu Feifei asked casually as a joke. Aha, I know her. Su Dalin's lips curled up slightly. Big sister, you're lying. What do you want to drink? Wine. Su Dalin said. Then I'll get it for you. Big sister, take a seat. We're just having dinner. Let's eat together. Mu Qingya also nodded. Big sister. Senior, please take a seat. Lin Xian held back his laughter. This Mu Qingya was really interesting. Su Dalin sat down and looked at the food on the table, frowning slightly. Is this the food you have now? Then she picked up her chopsticks. She was very outgoing and directly treated this place as her home. Because there were a lot of seasonings now. The food they made must be 100 times more delicious than at that time. Then she casually took a bite, and her beautiful eyes lit up. To be honest, this surprised her. Well, yes. Mu Feifei then took a bottle of red wine and walked over. Chin Ijuan sat there, and kept looking at Su Dalin. Not bad, not bad. I'm very satisfied. Su Dalin nodded in satisfaction and then continued to eat the food. Hey big sister, did you come here just to eat? Don't you have anything to say? Lin Xian said. Su Dalin paused and then looked at Chin Ijuan. Chin Ijuan hurriedly sat down. She really didn't know what to say. I'll teach you cultivation in the future. Su Dalin said to Chin Ijuan. Ah. Okay. Chin Ijuan nodded. Big sister Su, which era are you from? Mu Feifei asked. Shang. Wow. Mu Feifei exclaimed. That's a long time. Then you must be super powerful. They couldn't help being surprised. Well, I'm just average. Hearing this, Su Dalin was a little embarrassed. Originally, she wanted to say that she was quite powerful, but with Lin Xian sitting next to her, she felt that she still couldn't say that. Sorry. Damn. She was cured by a little kid in her 20s. What confidence did she have to say that she was powerful? Then what big sister said might be true. Su Daji is also from the Shang dynasty. Since big sister is a powerhouse from the Shang dynasty, then you really know each other. By the way, why do you have the same name? Because Su Daji is Mike. Lin Xian quickly interrupted and said, because at that time, There were many people with this name, and many were also called Su Daji. Then Lin Xian secretly glared at her. Su Dalin shrugged her shoulders and didn't say anything. Well, okay. If Su Dalin said it out loud, wouldn't she know that Qin Yijuan was Su Daji? So that's how it is. Then sister, is Su Daji very beautiful? Just like the legend, she could charm King Zhou of Shang alone. She's the kind of femme fatale. Mu Feifei was very outgoing and talkative. Well, of course. Wow. Mu Qingyao looked at Su Dalin and asked, Senior, did you wake up from a deep sleep? Just like those people? Well, yes. Mu Qingyao glanced at Lin Xian. It was just as he said. If that was the case, all the experts of the Shang dynasty would wake up from their deep slumber. Maybe Qin Shi Huang or something. Oh my God. What would Earth be like then? Wasn't it too scary? But inexplicably, she was looking forward to the appearance of those people to change some things on Earth. Maybe it was too peaceful now, but she was afraid that it would be very dangerous. Chapter 1645. The few of them chatted and chatted, but Qin Yijuan was the one who spoke the least. Now she was doubting her life. She was still in a daze. Your sister is here. Why don't you say more to her? Lin Xian asked. Well, let her calm down a little. Su Dalin glanced at her dear sister, and said with a smile. She appeared to be very kind. No one would have thought that she had killed Qin Yijuan with her own hands. Now she paid more attention to the various delicacies on the table that she had never eaten before. They were really delicious. This was the most meaningful thing since she woke up. Sister, is it enough? If it's not enough, I'll make more for you. Mu Feifei looked at Su Dalin and said. Su Dalin paused and then wiped her mouth. Well, it's enough. Qin Yijuan then said, Then, how did I die in the past? You, Lin Xian said. Didn't we agree that you're not allowed to ask about the past? No matter what, it was in the past or even thousands of years ago. Even if you know, what's the point? Qin Yijuan thought for a moment and then nodded. I know. Lin Xian's words were very reasonable. By the way, where will Sister Su live in the future? Mu Feifei asked. Lin Xian rubbed his chin and said, Yes, where will she live? At first Lin Xian thought too simply. Because think about it, the Mu family and the Qin family had a good relationship. They also knew Qin Yijuan, so they couldn't let Su Dalin live in this villa, right? They couldn't let Su Dalin live in the Qin family either. If the Qin family found out that there was a girl who looked exactly like their daughter, wouldn't they be scared to death? Then how would Su Dalin live? Would she have to disguise herself all the time? It would be inconvenient. Will she live in Sister Qin's house? Mu Feifei said. No, she'll die. Qin Yijuan quickly shook her head and said, Damn. This was absolutely not okay. Whatever. Su Dalin glanced at Lin Xian. See? You're in trouble now, aren't you? Therefore, you should just let me leave. This was the meaning behind Su Dalin's gaze. Lin Xian expressed that this was a small matter. If it doesn't work, we can get a villa next door and let her live there. But why do you have to stay here? Shouldn't she live closer to Sister Qin? Mu Feifei said. Are you stupid? She looks the same as Qin Yijuan. If Qin Yijuan's parents find out, it'll be another troublesome matter. So it's okay to live here. Your parents are usually at the company. If they have nothing to do, they can often come here. If they can't, they can just disguise themselves a little. Lin Xian. Su Dalin shrugged. Whatever makes you happy. Mu Qingyao glanced at Lin Xian and Su Dalin strangely. What did he mean by Lin Xian could do whatever he wanted? Why do I feel like there's more to this than meets the eye? That's it then. Xiao Qingyao, get a house next door. Do you have one next door? There's one next door. Then get one and let her live there. If you have nothing to do, you can gather there and cultivate. Okay. Mu Qingyao nodded. Okay, that's all for now. I have to go do something. You guys chat. With that, Lin Xian walked away. The girls then started chatting. Lin Xian wanted them to get along well. In this way, Lin Xian felt that with their character, they should be able to slowly influence Su Dalin. At this moment, Duan Lingxiao was crying. F***ck. Where's that woman? Why is she gone? Didn't she say that she would be in this cave? Why is she gone? F***ck. These experts were all shameless. They had already agreed. Yet they ran away. How shameless. They even lied to a junior. However, she said that she would take about a week, so she might come back in a week? What does she need to do now? It's possible. Duan Lingxiao pondered. No, I have to do something during this time. Then, Duan Lingxiao quickly left and went to find Xianyuan Qingtian. At this moment, Xianyuan Qingtian was thinking about something when Duan Lingxiao walked over. Lingxiao, you're just in time. Xianyuan Qingtian stood up. Brother Xianyuan, do you have a plan? Well, Lin Xian has returned to Jiangnan City. He's currently in the villa of the Mu Group CEO. This is his base, so it's time to act. Originally, Xianyuan Qingtian would not tell Duan Lingxiao about this, and Duan Lingxiao did not want to tell Xianyuan Qingtian that he had a grudge against Lin Xian. However, Xianyuan Qingtian overheard Duan Lingxiao's call to the assassin last time. So he knew that Duan Lingxiao had lied to him before. They were not friends, and they were even enemies. Duan Lingxiao's explanation was that what he said before was true, but he had some friction with Lin Xian, so they were also enemies. However, they might be aware of their relationship, but on the surface, they could still get along as if they knew each other. Previously, he had secretly sent an assassin to kill Lin Xian. Xianyuan Qingtian felt that the relationship between Duan Lingxiao and Lin Xian was very similar to his relationship with Lin Xian. However, this did not cause him to distrust Duan Lingxiao. Instead, he trusted Duan Lingxiao even more. He even felt that the two of them were fated to be together. Do you want to act now? Duan Lingxiao asked. Xianyuan Qingtian nodded. That's right. I've already sent people. This time, it's 5 heavenly venerables, and there's even a 9-star heavenly venerables. I don't believe that experts of this level can't kill a person. His eyes flashed with killing intent. He did not know about the news of Dongfang Shui waking up. To be precise, other than Dongfang Bai and the others, no one in the Dongfang family knew. Heavenly venerables. Duan Lingxiao pondered for a moment and said, the heavenly venerables might not be enough. What? The heavenly venerables are not enough? Are you kidding? Lin Xian is in the domain realm, and only has a 2-star cultivation base. It's ridiculous that even a 9-star heavenly venerables is not enough. The difference between the domain realm and the heavenly venerables is not like the difference between the law realm and the domain realm. Xianyuan Qingtian said. This was the strongest that he could invite. Any stronger than that? The great virtual realm cultivator. To be honest, he only knew that the Xianyuan family had a great void realm expert, but it was impossible for them to act for him. He thought about it for a while, but it seemed that he really could not find any other great void realm experts. Duan Lingxiao felt that it was really not enough. As for the reason, he could not give it. It might be the system. He had the system. Only the system could deal with the system. Big brother Xianyuan, give this to them. Duan Lingxiao took out something. Chapter 1646. Only the system could defeat the system. Although Duan Lingxiao knew that the things they exchanged in the system might be different, he also knew that because of the system, Lin Xian definitely had something that could save his life. That woman might not be reliable. Now, Xianyuan Qingtian had used such a large number of experts to assassinate Lin Xian. If it was combined with the things in his system, there would be a chance of success. Without the things in his system, Duan Lingxiao felt that Lin Xian would definitely be fine. What is this? Xianyuan Qingtian asked. Duan Lingxiao said, this is a very powerful thing. Its effect is very simple. As long as you use it on a target in your line of sight, you only need to think about the target in your mind. Then, your spiritual power will be sealed, and you won't be able to use any spiritual power for a few days. What? There's such a thing? Xianyuan Qingtian looked at the thing in his hand, dumbfounded. He could understand sealing a person's spiritual power. This was a very normal power. However, what shocked him was not this, but the method of using it. As long as it was a target in his line of sight, He only needed to think about the target in his mind, and it would be directly used on him. What was the principle behind this? This went against all the theoretical principles. Yes, it did go against all the principles. However, because this was something in the system, there was no need to explain it. However, Duan Lingxiao would definitely not tell Xianyuan Qingtian that he had the system. What the hell is this? Duan Lingxiao said. I got this from DXIan's tomb. I don't know what it is exactly, but the effect is indeed like this. At that time, I was also very surprised by the existence of this thing, but I am sure that this thing is definitely real. That Lin Xian is definitely not simple. If you really want to kill him, it's best to use this. Xianyuan Qingtian pondered for a moment. Well, okay, I'll believe you this time. The main reason was that he had the same goal as Duan Lingxiao. He believed that if Duan Lingxiao really wanted to kill Lin Xian, he would definitely do his best. Okay. As for Lin Xian, he was already prepared for this. Why did he say that? This was because Lin Xian knew that Lin Xian would definitely want to seize the opportunity to kill him here on Earth. Moreover, he had the system, so he would definitely seize the opportunity. Moreover, there was also Xianyuan Qingtian. Lin Xian was already prepared. He had even prepared a special item to fight against the system. This was also why Lin Xian didn't really want to kill Su Delin. F***ck. Lin Xian still needed a top-notch fighter in the virtuous realm. Tonight, Su Delin and Qin Yijuan went out to stay in a hotel. Lin Xian was still quite at ease. For an ambitious woman, she wouldn't go against her own life. Moreover, Lin Xian was actually very kind to her. He believed that she should be clear about it. In fact, this was indeed the case. Su Delin really didn't want to do anything. Now, the person she was most unhappy with was Lin Xian. It had nothing to do with other women. As for the past, she did kill her sister. However, she did deliberately not destroy her sister's soul, and even helped her reincarnate. If there was no help, there was a 99% chance that she would not be able to reincarnate. She had to bring her sister to a place. She brought her sister to that place and helped her reincarnate. If you said that she was cruel, then she was indeed very cruel. However, she deliberately did not destroy her sister's soul. Anyway, it was not easy to say. Who is that person? In the room, Lin Xian took a shower, and then got into bed. Mu Qingya asked curiously. Didn't I say it? It's Qin Yijuan's sister. She's a twin. I mean, she said that she was from the Shang dynasty. Then what is her identity? What is Yijuan's identity? I'm quite curious. Mu Qingya said. Okay. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. I'm not telling you. Then I won't tell you. Mu Qingya then got into bed and turned her back to Lin Xian. Hey, you can't do this. If I don't tell you, you'll turn your back to me. What? Are you going to threaten me and not have sex with me? Mu Qingya. You're crazy. Huh. Lin Xian then hugged her from behind. Qingya, I missed you so much. Absolutely not. Mu Qingya said. Huh. You probably have a lot of women outside, and there are other girls following you. Would you miss me? Mu Qingya absolutely did not believe him. Really. Have a rest. Mu Qingya did not want to talk to Lin Xian about this. Do you want to do some exercise before going to bed? It's good for your body and mind. Lin Xian's hand slowly reached in. Mu Qingya pressed Lin Xian's hand. Useless beauty. It's useless to struggle. Then there was no need to say anything else. After a quiet night, Lin Xian hugged Mu Qingya and slept until the next morning. Early the next morning, Qin Yijuan got the villa next door and quietly arranged for Su Dalin to move in. For someone of her status, she could even move in first and go through some procedures. It was a piece of cake. Last night, she had chatted a lot with Su Delin. However, Su Delin didn't mention a lot of things. Instead, Su Delin asked her about it. For example, she found out more about Lin Xian, ordered takeout, and ate a lot of delicious food. In any case, she had accepted this twin sister that had appeared out of nowhere. Although it was a fantasy, she had accepted it now. Lin Xian opened his eyes. Mu Qingya had already woken up and just walked out of the shower. I'm going to cultivate. Mu Qingya looked at Lin Xian and said, the weather is so good. Let's go out and have some fun. Okay. Mu Qingya thought for a moment and said, okay. Although cultivation was important, she also cherished the time she spent with Lin Xian. Since they had already decided to be together, decided to be boyfriend and girlfriend, and even slept on the same bed, to her, the person was probably more important. Call your sister, and let's go out and have some fun. By the way, call Qin Yijuan and her sister. Let's go out and have some fun. Okay. Qin Yijuan happened to be on the weekend. She was chatting with Su Dalin in the villa, and teaching her how to use her phone. Then Mu Feifei ran over and told them about it. Let's go out and have some fun. Qin Yijuan nodded and handed a mask to Su Dalin. Put on the mask. Why don't you wear it? Su Dalin asked. Because they looked the same. It was better for one of them to dress up. Okay, I'll wear it. Qin Yijuan shrugged. Then they went out and had some fun. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.